Good morning, race fans, and welcome back to Round 6 of the National Rock Racing Association. This weekend presented by Raceline Wheels. We are on day 2 of racing here at the Good Evening Ranch in Canvas, West Virginia. And yesterday we had some awesome racing from our UTV stock and cup classes. I'm going to go ahead and go over the podiums from those classes for you guys, just as kind of a little recap. I hope you were able to join us for that racing action yesterday. If not, make sure you go back and rewatch that. Definitely worth it. Dylan Dowler in our stock class took that top spot, followed by Robert Traynor in second and Cody Cayson in third. That was for the Super Grip UTV stock class. And then we had for our RCB Axle UTV Cup class, Dylan Dowler again took the top box, followed by Cooper Bentley and Dustin Medley rounding out our podium there. So, again, hope you guys were able to join us for that racing action yesterday. We've got a full lineup today. We're going to be starting with our UTV Bounty class. And before we get into any of that, Matt, let's talk just a little bit about UTV Bounty, what kind of sets it apart from the rest of our UTV options here.
Yeah, so UTV Bounty is going to be a little different than, say, our Cup class or a UTV stock. The UTV itself is basically unlimited. You can run any kind of tire combo. You can run any motor you want. You can run any transmission you want. Again, the vehicle can be as big or as small as you want. You can have as much power as you want. It's pretty unlimited. However, you are still going to be racing the same course as the rock bouncers. Those guys with 1,200, 1,400 horsepower, the guys with 43-inch stickies, a massive shock package on most of these guys, again, in the unlimited class. So the thing is, you really have to push hard, and most of those guys don't finish because the course is so difficult. When you come up to a 3-foot undercut, it's hard to do that in a side-by-side. So, again, I really have my hats off to those guys. They always fight so hard. They do a great job, and it's almost impossible to climb some of those courses, being that the course is just so difficult.
Yeah, the bounty class is definitely our toughest option for our UTV drivers, those that just are ready for that little extra challenge out here. A lot of our drivers race the Cup class and bounty class as well, so they're getting all that seat time out here on race weekends. With that, let's go ahead and take a look at how our points are coming into the weekend. We're going to get that pulled up here for you guys and see where things are sitting as we come on in here. Nathaniel Bell sitting in the lead right now. This weekend marks coming back from our mid-season break. We finished our first half of the season, so one half is down. Coming into it, Nathaniel's sitting pretty good there with 420 points, followed by Casey Howell with 394, Alston Tidwell with 305.
Yeah, Nathan Hunt coming up in that 4th place, and then Clay Cayson, again, that Cayson family just crushing it, sitting right at that top 5.
Yeah, Clay is leading in was leading up until yesterday with our Cup class. Brother Cody Cayson leading in stock class, and Clay decided to come on out and join in the bounty fun as well. So we do have just a handful of drivers in our bounty class this weekend. And we are going to have Jesse Riley starting things off for us. That's him sitting there on that race line, starting gate.
Again, these guys are going to be racing the same course as the rock bouncer, so it's going to be a gnarly course for these guys. Such big rocks. Again, this is park specifically has a lot of undercuts, which make it incredibly hard. Me and my dad went out and did some trail riding last night, and it's a very there's 400 acres roughly here, so not a ton of trails, but the trails they do have make up for, they are absolutely some gnarly stuff. We were following a bunch of guys in beefed up JKs with V8 engines, and they were it was a little harder for some of those guys to had to back up 2 or 3 times some 40-inch stickies. And
were you in your Talon?
Yeah.
In the Honda Talon?
We were in the side-by-side. And, again, we tried following them until we couldn't anymore. There were some rock ledges. My dad gave it a college try, but it was not going to make it following these guys on 40-inch stickies and, LS swapped or the Hemi engine. So they were definitely beefed up, ready to go wheeling. So
we might be seeing a little bit of that in our bounty class today as well. I don't know. It's we'll see how things play out. I'm definitely interested to see. I know we're going to have an awesome day with some really fun, epic racing action happening here at the Good Evening Ranch in Canvas, West Virginia. If you're able to join us for yesterday's racing as well, we did show a clip of some of our bouncer action and carnage from last year. So we might be having a fresh reel to add to that after today.
Yeah, our skinny pedal last year was like our video was like 3.5 minutes long of just crash after crash after crash. We had guys wedged in trees. It was not without plenty of events last year, so it was a very interesting day. But looks like they're getting ready to get all of our UTV Bounty Series kicked off here.
Thank you guys for joining us here today on Hillside Live with Rock Racing TV and Power Sports World. And we have a full day of racing ahead. We've got 5 classes that'll be racing today, so hopefully you'll be able to hang around for most of that racing action. And like I said, we're starting with our bounty class, and then after that we're going to move on into the bouncers, which is definitely going to be some exciting action. Then we'll have our limited bouncer class. We've got our UTV teen/amateur class, and then we'll be running our youth drivers today as well. So like I said, full day of racing. Hope you can stick around and join us for most of that.
Yeah, it looks like we got a ton of youth racers as well as a handful of our teenage racers. I'm excited to see those classes grow and evolve, and I think we're going to add some more to those as they continue. I'm very excited. Again, I love the competitors are out here being very ornery and silly there. I saw them all last night. We were coming back like 10 o'clock, and they were all just a gaggle of them with our youth racers hanging out.
All right, here we go with Jesse Riley, first driver of the day out on the course. He is starting things off for course 1 for our UTV bounty class. Oh, getting a little squirrely right off the bat. Unfortunately, he did just take out that flag, which means a 30-second penalty.
Again, you hate to see that. This course, we actually saw all the UTVs classes, both classes yesterday, come down this. Today they're going to be going up it.
Which is a whole other story.
We talked about, me and Bree both discussed how incredibly huge that ledge is. And I think here you're seeing exactly how big that is. Now, obviously, bouncers won't have as much trouble, but seeing how steep it is on a UTV really kind of helps show this is a gnarly, gnarly rock area. This rock garden yesterday, we saw several UTVs take a good tumble in our cup class, but...
Oh, he's so close.
Man!
And a quick point, if you're new to the sport, new to the series maybe, you're wondering what that means about the flag and getting that penalty. So you'll notice that we've got these banners out here all along the course. Not only are they showing off our awesome sponsors, but they've got a lot of important purposes out here. One, we want to make sure that drivers are running as much as the same course as possible. No cutting corners, no finding a shortcut. Those banners are there to help make sure that they are all staying on track and running the same course. They also are there to mark any spots where safety might be an extra issue. There might be a stump or a hole or a rock or something where the drivers, it's like saying, hey, you need to check up a little bit here and you got to stay inside and out of these banners, maybe making sure to check up the speed coming to a spectator area, something like that. And then that's why we do have that penalty if a flag gets run over. Now, the yellow tape that you see out on the course, that's just purely there to help the drivers, to mark the course, to make it clear where they need to go.
Yeah, and again, as a driver, I appreciate having that yellow tape kind of keep you going in the right direction, because sometimes when you're bouncing around that buggy, especially with a rock garden, you're thrashing side to side, you're getting bounced around. So
you're seeing tree, rock, tree, sky.
Yeah. And so, knowing you're going in the right direction is a really good advantage to have. So, again, typically racing like short course or desert racing, you have a much wider berth. So some of these courses, you only have, 12 feet, 15 feet area where you're trying to get a bouncer through, and things can come up very quickly.
And we hate to see anybody get lost on course and get a DNF because of that. We do the series owner and the creator of all the courses out here. He does send out course maps to all of the drivers for all of our classes a couple days in advance once he gets those marked out, so they can be studying up on their course map and make sure if they have any questions, they ask those. We have a driver's meeting every morning before the races start for all classes that day, and that's when they can ask any questions, clarify any points. If we need extra tape somewhere to make it clear for the drivers, we'll do that. We don't want anybody to get lost on course and get a DNF because of that.
Yeah, and again, that's, a huge advantage to having that tape up there as well as some flags to kind of keep everybody going in the right direction. And coming from a guy who's got lost on course before, it's always nice if you can keep going in the right way. And again, we talk about being that fighter mentality of, only being able to see kind of what is directly right in front of you. being able to have that tape to kind of guide you. You don't have to back up, and now you're trying to look behind you. You can't really see. So.
Yes, when you've got your Hans device or your neck restraint on and you've got your full face helmet, our drivers either have window nets or arm or wrist restraints are required. And then you've got your 5-point harness system on, of course. So when you are fully strapped in the buggy, you're not able to turn your head and look behind you easily, as Matt mentioned. So that definitely becomes a factor. There's an awesome shot of our pit area. You can see those bouncers that are going to be running here real shortly. And we've got Nathaniel Bell waiting patiently on that starting line for his turn at this course. Here he goes. Nathaniel Bell is leading in points coming into this weekend in the bounty class with 420. He also had a second place finish at our last race at Fiddler's Bend in Oklahoma. Looks like he's made it on top of the rock.
I'm not sure.
And then the buggy quit.
Yeah. Not sure what happened there. Again, like I said, you can see his back axle kind of hanging off, but most of the buggy's up there. I think if the buggy was running, I think he could just mash on the gas and peel up the rest of the way, but looks like he's climbing out to check something. I don't know if a connector came undone or what.
Looks like he's going for a self-recovery. Or he's throwing his hands up in disgust. I don't know what he's doing.
Again, you can see him there on camera kind of squatting down right behind the back. Looks like he's taking his helmet off. I'm not sure what's the I think that's Bub Meadows down there checking it out, one of our photographers on course today. He's got addictive photography. There's Knox in the bottom corner again. That's one of our recovery and course workers. And, man, it's such a bummer, again, coming up to that first obstacle. I was watching him.
Oh, I know. He got the hard part down. He made it on top of the rock.
Yeah, I was watching him this morning. He was down there pre-running, having a good time, feeling it all out. And he seemed pretty confident that things were going to go well today, but I promise you this was not part of the plan. Again, Jonathan Gibbs down there with him, one of our racers out there. Getting Keith the tool man down there, getting him hooked up. Again, Keith's our recovery vehicle, our official recovery vehicle, as well as he has a lot of tools and parts that we unfortunately have to use sometimes.
That's never a good sign when Keith has to roll up and get the winch out. And we are definitely glad to have him here to do it, though.
Yeah, that stinks. Again, I saw him down here hitting stuff this morning, and it seemed to be okay. I'm not sure if, like I said, you could see him messing with that the area right behind the seat. So I'm not sure if a connector came undone or what was going on. So, unfortunately for Nathaniel Bell, again, it's one of our previous season champions. I know he's a great racer, done a lot of good. That TC built chassis there. But again, you hate to see that for Nathaniel Bell there in the UTV bounty class today. And again, we had several spectators come down and play last night as well, kind of experiencing how big some of these rocks are once you see them in person. So we hate to see that for Nathaniel Bell. Such a bummer. And we talked about this class being much harder. I did not anticipate we would have this many DNFs this early in the day.
Unfortunately, they are proving us right.
Yeah.
This is the toughest UTV class right out the gate there, obviously. A very difficult obstacle. We've got Casey Howell on the line now. He is going to be our last bounty driver for Course 1.
Man.
Let's see if he can get over this first obstacle. And Casey doesn't even need to hurry around the course
No.
now. It's all on him just to get to the finish line.
Again,
He can take his time if he wants to.
Yeah, I love this shot here. It shows really how steep that is. Again, Casey, one of our very fierce competitors in our Cup Series. He was out here battling yesterday, doing a great job. And the way he's backing off, he might be trying to save the car. Since we've had everyone in that class DNF, he might be trying to save that car for the second course.
Looks like that's going to be the case. And Casey was coming into the weekend second in points, so he had a pretty solid lead over our third-place position of Alston Tidwell. So I think you're right, Matt. He's going to save it for course 2, seeing as all of our drivers did DNF.
Yeah.
Now it just is all going to come down to course 2 for the bounty class. All right, guys, thanks for joining us here on Power Sports World. We are going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with all that bouncer racing action. See you in just a second.
The Mickey Thompson Premium Mud Terrain is on the road and full of undisputed attitude. The Baja Boss MT. No compromises, ever. We are purpose-built tires for truck and Jeep enthusiasts everywhere. All mud tires are not created equal, and here's the proof. Powerfly XD construction, asymmetrical tread design, extreme side biters, and more. Find your tire size today at MickeyThompsonTires.com.
Welcome back, everybody. We are ready to kick off course 2 for our Mickey Thompson bouncer class. I see we've got Dustin Medley sitting on the line with Gold Rush. Guys, this is going to be the exciting stuff. We love all of our race classes. All of them are so much fun to watch, and I love that we have a place where anybody can come in and race. Whether you're a youth driver, your thing is UTVs, you're not ready to get into the bouncers yet, or you're going all out in the bouncer class. We've got something for everybody here. But man, this series got started with the bouncers. That is what has made it what it is over the years. So this is definitely a main part of the show here and what we do. Matt, why don't you tell us just a little bit about the regulations here for the class?
Sure, you can see those on screen there in that graphic. Again, it shows a handful of things. We talk about the cage. The cage, obviously, want you to be safe. We do have really only one rule. It's a 39-inch tire. That's at least the minimum, 39-inch tire. Everything else has to do with safety. So we have to have a 5-way harness. You have to have a containment seat. You have to have a good cage. You have to have, a lot of safety stuff. Fire suppression system. It's a great thing. Other than that, you can literally run anything you want. Any motor, any tire, any axle.
Unlimited,
it's so
baby.
It is. And this is where all the big dogs come out and have an absolute great time. And kicking us off is Dustin Medley with that big motor.
Speaking of big motors, Matt, how much horsepower is the Gold Rush putting
I think he's in that 1,200-ish range. Again, I talked to Dustin after Fiddler's Bend, And he said, I've always wanted more horsepower in every buggy I've had, every race car. He said, this is the first time I'm like, this might be too much.
This might
be too much.
Well, all I know is I can feel it in my chest when the buggies start up and are driving by. And you can't hear anything, even if you have a headset on. They're loud. They are roaring by. They're moving fast, guys. They're kicking up the dust. This is the exciting stuff. I wish all of you that are joining us online and on Power Sports World today could be here in person and experience it, but I hope you can still feel the thrill through the screen just as well.
Again, you see that tight little turn there. We're going to go through the rocks just like we did yesterday. We have this nice kind of high-speed loop, kind of a teardrop-shaped loop, and they're coming right back in on course 1 today here in West Virginia. We're going to come up, we're going to go through and come right back through lane 1 on the first course. So you notice he's going right back through where he came. He'll be coming around here in the broadcast booth and headed to the second little rock. All right. You can see him getting set up. He has to go all the way down to the end and climb that Mickey Thompson Mountain.
So they've got to cross through the RCB rock section, and then they're going to take a left. And like Matt said, he's got to charge on up the Mickey Thompson Mountain here.
And I have a feeling this mountain is definitely going to earn its title today. Ugh, there's such a big ledge at the top. There's such a blip that kind of kicks you up in the air. So you have to bring a lot of momentum in, but then you have to transition that momentum from vertical back to horizontal. And I think that's where we're going to see a lot of buggies have problems today. And he got his front axle over that, but unfortunately was not able to get it the rest of the way out.
And there he is at the top. All right, he's got to drop back in.
There we go. Oh, again, that is a super steep ledge at the top there. Dropping back into it, and it looks like we're going to get our first finisher here in the bouncer class. He's definitely got to feel good. Let's see what that time's going to be. That's a
134.878 for Dustin Medley, our first bouncer driver of the day. I see he's got a flat tire on that rear driver's side, but man, he made it through the finish line. That was pretty exciting. I know we're going to see a whole lot more of that, and you just wait until we get to course 2, guys, and what the folks are going to be climbing here in our bouncer class. Clint Garrison is on the line now in Liberty 2. We've seen this buggy do some wild stuff over the years, haven't we, Matt?
I feel like Danny Smith used to make this thing do ballerina type work with it. And Clint has definitely picked up that torch and is doing well. Absolutely.
Clint is coming into the weekend 4th in points overall behind Nick Reich. So Clint definitely having a really solid season so far. Just a reminder again, we have just come back from our mid-season break. So first half of the season is done with. This is race number 6 out of 10 for the season. So Clint coming in at 4th place, definitely a very solid standing. One thing I like to say about Clint is he's got this smooth and steady driving style. He gets these great fast times, and yet doesn't feel like he's riding the ragged edge like we see sometimes. He just stays his calm and consistent. We'll see what we get from him here on course 1.
Again, you can see these guys absolutely just ripping right out of that race line, starting it, coming up, taking a little time, kind of getting that front end over, and then blasting through that rock section. You can hear, like Bree said earlier, you can literally hear these things vibrating your chest as they come by the broadcast booth.
Launching over that race line ramp.
Again, shout out to Dearborn Drone Co. for giving us awesome drone footage for us this weekend. They do a great job of helping us keep track of the buggies in those farther corners of the park. Again, you can see that's a great shot there of that rock garden. Just coming back through. Very clean looking pass. Definitely not wasting any time. Trying to work his way up to that Mickey Thompson Mountain.
All right, let's see if he can one-shot the mountain here. Nope.
Man, you can see how steep and how undercut that top section is. It is just so rough. You can see the undercut on the right side. That actually means it goes up and comes back towards you, which is going to kind of bobble you a little bit. There's also 2 ledges kind of going into a V. So there's so much to deal with right there. There's so much that's happening on the front suspension of that buggy.
Well, and just trying to maintain your momentum and wheel speed getting up to it.
Yeah.
Now, on camera, we got to tell you guys this. As always, everything is steeper, so much steeper in person than it looks on camera. That kind of looks like a highway from that shot. And believe us, it's not.
Yeah.
Oh, he's so close. That's Wade Good down there at the bottom. You could see backing him up a little bit, telling him to hit it.
You can definitely see that front end popping up. Again, we talked about going from that front end hitting, going straight from a vertical to a horizontal. So looks like he's trying to get set up there. Again, at the bottom of that last shot, you could see a bunch of the course workers down there in case someone does roll. We appreciate all those guys, as well as our EMS staff we have out here this weekend. Try to get him backed up. Looks like he's pulling off, unfortunately.
All right, he's going to try and save the buggy for course 2, maybe.
Yeah.
This might be a good time to mention that we do have a 5-minute limit for our drivers today. We don't want we want everyone to have the time to give it as best a shot as they can, but we also don't want somebody to get up on an obstacle and just dig it out and change it, maybe make it harder or worse for the drivers that are coming after them. So the 5-minute time limit. Oh, and he does have a flat tire there, I see now. The 5-minute time limit, once they've passed that 5-minute mark, if you continue to make forward progress, then your run will still count. So even if you're still going, you hit 5 minutes, it doesn't automatically mean you're done, but you have to continue making forward progress. If you stop or back up at all, then you'll be timed out.
Got Daniel Bowman there in that Reclaim Racing team, sitting in that race line starting gate. These guys are just launching out of that race line starting gate.
Dan is racing Tyrant, a TC-built buggy, TC Tim Cameron. If you guys are newer to the sport and the series, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, go put his name in YouTube and see what comes up. Tim Cameron.
The internet has some stuff about him.
And Dan Bowman taking over the wheel with Tyrant here and has been doing an awesome job racing. This is his 2nd year now that he's been racing with the series. And, man, what a difference. Night and day from when he first came out and started racing with us. And it's been a lot of fun to follow along and see how his racing has progressed. There's no seat time like race seat time, huh, Matt?
There is not. Timmy Cameron told me that once, and I was like, really? And it makes sense because there's so much more intense. You have the timer in the back of your head. You have everybody watching you. The cameras are all rolling. All attention is on you. So while you're in that buggy, everything is so much more amplified versus like last night when there was drivers down here kind of bumping over the ledges. And Dan is such a humble guy, too. I remember his first race he ever raced with us. He said, Matt, I don't care if I go so slow, I can use my turn signals on the turn. He said, I'm just happy to be here. And again, Dan has that same kind of humility when he races with us and just, does an awesome job. But definitely is a fierce competitor. We love Dan. He's an awesome guy.
And I love the fact that what got him into racing was the battle between Timmy and Wade Good that we saw a couple seasons ago in the bouncer class, and that's what made Dan want to race, and now he's driving a TC Belt Buggy Tyrant. It's pretty cool how things can come full circle in the race world.
Wade just came up and said it's gone.
Oh,
no! Get back on your wheels.
Hold on. Let's see if he sticks the landing.
There we go.
He stuck it. Nice.
I think he broke a shock on that front driver's side tire, maybe. It looks like that front axle's poking really far out.
Rear tire doesn't look quite right.
I think the front that front tire, I think something is definitely broken there. And again, we appreciate all our recovery crew out there. You can see all those yellow vests out there just packing the side of the hill. They're all seeing what's going on. Oh, yeah, Nick is saying looks like picking up, so he might have broke something really bad.
You'll also see some of the drivers out there in their fire suits. These are drivers that are hustling out there to help a fellow driver. We talked a little bit yesterday about the camaraderie of the sport. We got the thumbs up from Michael there telling us.
It looks like he's saying up as in like picking it up with a crane. I think that there's going to be,
one way or another, we're going to get Dan out of there.
Got this Amsoil replay real quick. Again, you can see, I think he must have tore something on the front. As the way there's that many guys looking at stuff, I think he comes up, hits that, and it bounces that front end up. The back tire kind of cuts in there, and as Bree would say, it was all downhill from there.
But not in a good way.
Not in a good way. I think that front tire maybe hit the tree.
Yeah, that back tire is definitely not pointing the right direction.
Yeah, something doesn't. I'm really curious now to see what broke. And again, Wade Good walked by a minute ago right as Dan was running. He said the undercut is just gone, meaning it's gotten chewed out a lot.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to see some more. All right, we got some top 10 points here coming in today. Again, this is before today. This is our 6th race. This is kind of coming right after our summer break. So we have half the season down, and this kicks off the second half of the season.
So we had Cooper Bentley leading the pack here coming into today with a 5-point lead over Wade Good in that second place. And then Nick Reich bringing in third, Clint Garrison in fourth, Daniel Heckley rounding out our top 5.
Then little Tim Bacon, that Bacon family coming in 6th. Brandon Davis with that independent front suspension buggy sitting 7th. Ethan Jones, that monster buggy his that's pretty wicked, number 8th. Connor Flynn sitting at 9th, and Ben Driscoll rounding out the top 10.
We'll see how things get shaken up today, Matt.
Yeah. I think it's going to be an interesting day. With Wade coming by and going, that bottom's gone, I think we're going to see a whole lot more of this today.
Well, and Cooper only has a 5-point lead over Wade. And that can change real fast out here.
So if Cooper makes it, Wade is going to be like just full send.
Absolutely.
But if Wade doesn't make it, Cooper I think is going to be a little more lax. So.
Well, and then we've got Clint Garrison in 4th place with only a 3-point lead over Daniel Heckley in 5th. So,
I think it'll be interesting to shake out. Yeah.
All right, guys. While they work on this recovery, we're going to share some content from our friends at Power Sports World, and then we'll be back right after that. So y'all check this out.
Hey guys, what's up, man? Brian with Fisher's Off-Road here, and whenever it comes to cleaning your side-by-sides, here's a real quick tip for you. You want to make sure you take your seats out, depending on what kind of ATV or side-by-side you're cleaning, because what happens is you'll see that, we take the seats out of our Can-Am Maverick Sport Maxes here, and we'll put them over here, and we'll kind of clean those real quick and hand wash them as much as we can, because here's what happens. You see where all these stitches are, and then in the back here where the foam's accessible. What happens is we come over here, and I can show you this seat right here. We had this in when we washed it. See that right there? See that water coming out? What happens is whenever we wash our machines and we don't take our seats out, actually that seat was taken out, and Tyler did a really good job of trying to clean it without getting it totally wet, but it happens. Your seats get wet, and a lot of times what happens is, you'll wash it, put it away, not think about it, And as you do that over a period of time, you get mold in there and you get funk. It's nasty. After a bit, next thing you know, if you've ever been in like a pontoon boat or a tent that got wet and hot and dried out, it ends up smelling like funk. Next thing you know, your buddy's getting your buggy and they're like, dang, dude, this thing smells like cat piss. What's up? So you want to make sure you avoid getting sick from mold and every other funky thing that can live in those seats. And you'll notice it if you ever go to change your seat cover, or if you're going to use it in the winter and you want to put a heated seat pad in underneath your cover and you go to pull that seat cover off to put the heated seat pad in there and then go to put it back on, you're going to notice that your foam on your seats has mold all through it, and you want to keep that from happening. You want to try and dry out your seats as best you can. I know we go riding a lot of times and it starts raining, or we get in some deep mud sippy holes, and next thing you know, you got water up to your seat. So you want to make sure that you get your seats dried out, and don't wash it and put it away and think that, oh, well, it'll just dry as it sits. You want to make sure you do everything you can to dry those seats out, so that way they don't get all funky and smell like cat piss. So there you go, guys. Hope that helps you out. Keep your ride clean. I'll see you out on the trail. Peace.
There is this extraordinarily unpredictable beauty to backcountry riding. And I think that's what I love so much about BDR, is that they give you a ticket to experience that. In our own personal lives, I think that we're able to exact a certain degree of control over the outcome of our own destinies. But backcountry riding involves venturing into the unknown, and you have to relinquish this idea that you're in control of the natural world around you. Riding a BDR comes with perspective-altering experiences of extreme beauty and challenges along the way. For sunshine or for rain, riding one will likely be an experience that you will never forget. This year I rode the Idaho BDR, and during my time on that route, the weather seemed to be a humbling adversary. With lightning and rain in the south and smoke and fire in the north, it was a tough route to navigate. But behind each challenge was a life lesson and an accomplishment that I can carry with me for the rest of my life. After spending 14 days exploring the backcountry and living off of MREs and fighting off mosquitoes, I've since come home to my normal life. And I miss the unpredictable nature of my day-to-day experiences. I miss the wanderlust freedom that I got from being out there. And I'm already in the process of planning my next route. There's a whole world that begins where the pavement ends, and BDR has given us the maps to go and see it.
Awesome. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to West Virginia. We have Dan Bowman sitting on that Reclaim Racing team who just rolled down the hill in a very beautiful fashion. Unfortunately, they're saying he tore up the rear axle. I thought it was the front axle. It looked like it was kind of hanging out, but they're saying it might be the rear axle he tore up. He rolled pretty violently, and that tree, you can see right on the left-hand side of your screen, the tree actually caught the wheel. So, again, well, here's a quick replay, our AMSOIL replay shot. Again, that back tire dug in, and unfortunately, that is Bree pointed out, a super steep ledge there. And he right there at the end caught that tree and didn't go well.
Yeah,
Luckily,
you can see those back tires kind of splayed out.
Yeah. Luckily, we had a bunch of recovery guys down there. You can see the sea of yellow vests and drivers in race suits. We appreciate all those guys helping out. Again, sometimes when you roll like this, tear stuff up, and it's not designed to be torn up. So it takes a little bit of an army to get it put back together and try to get it off course. Again, I would say Dan's day is probably over, judging by how many guys are looking at that buggy right now.
Yeah, it's hard to say. You know, sometimes the drivers surprise us with how quickly they can get things back together and be ready for course 2. But, yeah, I don't know. It's definitely not looking good for Dan right now.
Yeah. Looks like they're putting a ratchet strap on the front of it. Maybe trying to suck that front axle back in. I might have pulled a link bar off, ripped some tabs off or something. Again, each of these vehicles, you talked about design, each of these vehicles is designed differently by different designers. I say Justin Holt from Reject Fabs here in the comments chilling out. And Tim Cameron, another guy who's built several chassis. This is a TC-built chassis. I've built my own chassis. There's nothing against the rules that say you can't build your own chassis. You can also go with a manufacturer. So, again, lots of different styles of buggies. Back in the good old days, a long time ago, kind of everybody built their own in their garage and with whatever parts they had.
Every bouncer is a one-off build.
It is. So I said nowadays you have manufacturers, several manufacturers out there you can pick a chassis up from. And so they become a little bit more uniform over the years. And, again, as certain people get very good, the kind of design of the chassis as well as the power, different parts. Okay, looks like it's going to take a little bit of time to get this thing recovered. So we're going to take a quick break from Power Sports World, and we'll be back right after these messages.
All right, so this is our XT tire, and this is the 35, 10, 15. It's the biggest tire that we make for a UTV. And this is the road compound. We have two different compounds. As you can see, it's kind of hard to squeeze these together. This is going to last you a lot longer if you're just doing trail riding on asphalt to get to the trails. If you're trailering and you're only going to be on trails, then I would recommend our trail compound. And it's much softer than the grip and grab those rocks really well. That's what the majority of our drivers that we sponsor use, the XC trail compound. But we also have our AMP tire, and this is a 6-ply tire. The XT is the 8-ply. It's got really tough sidewalls, and in fact, one of our drivers took first place in the Bounty Series last race in Hot Springs with this tire. So those are the two main tires that all racers use. And you can get any of these tires and the wheels that they're mounted on through Rock Life as well.
Welcome back here on Power Sports World, everybody. Thanks for joining us here on Hillside Live today. You are watching all the racing action with the National Rock Racing Association here at the Good Evening Ranch in Canvas, West Virginia. We're working on a recovery still. We had Dan Bowman take a tumble down the Mickey Thompson Mountain and do some damage to the rear end of the buggy. So they're working on that recovery. Looks like they've got him off the course now, so that's always a good sign. And we'll be back rolling here just in just a minute. We've got a lot of drivers still to go here in our bouncer class. We are on course 1 for the Mickey Thompson bouncer class for the day.
Yeah, I feel like we have a lot of carnage for only being 3 drivers in on course 1.
Well, and we had all 3 of our UTV Bounty drivers also were DNFs for course 1. So are we surprised?
No.
Are we surprised? I mean, it's no different than what we saw last year here at the Good Evening Ranch. These rocks, this hillside, these cliffs that we've got these guys climbing, they're no joke. They're definitely a challenge. We like to keep our drivers on their toes. Can't let them get too comfortable. And also, we race at different parks all over the Southeast. We race in Oklahoma, Missouri, Kentucky, Tennessee, Alabama, Arkansas. Here in West Virginia, we've got 10 events at 10 different parks throughout the year. So the terrain can vary a lot. We've got all these rocks here. We've got these rock gardens we've got our guys going through today. At one park, we've got a bit of a short course track that we get to incorporate. At another park, it's a lot of, mud and trees and rocks in those Tennessee and Alabama kind of hills. And, Arkansas and Hot Springs we race, and it's like a real gravelly kind of rock with some real steep hills that we have our drivers winding all around. So it's fun to be able to incorporate the different terrain and what the parks have to offer and make these courses for our guys. So no 2 courses really ever the same.
Yeah, and again, then you have Mother Nature on top of that. It might be snowing or raining. Again, when rain comes in, it creates mud, and then the whole entire course can go crazy.
Changes everything.
It does. Again, things start getting big ruts. We've seen things get worn out, rutted out, kind of like course 1. It's already starting to take fold. But, yeah, Mother Nature can play havoc with you. Even if the course is still a quote-unquote mild one, Mother Nature can definitely change that pretty quick for a course. I see some of our course workers walking back over here. Looks like they're trying to get set up for our next bouncers. They might have Dan Bowman pulled off the course. That's Justin Holback you see on screen there, backing in. He helps run our starting gate sometimes. He runs our kids program and does a phenomenal job with that, as well as has some young youth racers himself.
Yeah, his 2 kiddos race in the youth class, and Justin himself also races. Yeah. We saw him race in the stock class yesterday. This is Ethan Jones on the line in Wicked. And the clock is hot. Oh, I wish you guys could hear that sound in person here at the races.
Again, hearing an echo off those rocks he's parked in is just absolutely incredible.
Nothing like the sound of horsepower in the morning, huh, Matt?
Yeah. Kind of launching up that rock face there, heading into that rock garden.
And remember, our UTV bounty class, all 3 drivers DNF'd on that very first rock that Ethan just kind of hopped up there. So definitely you can see the difference that the size in these vehicles makes.
Our puddle definitely got some water drained out of it yesterday thanks to our UTV class. I have to feel a little bit bad about some of our UTV guys out there taking some splashes for us, getting all the water out. Again, this high-speed section is a lot of fun, getting out there and just let that buggy rip.
Yeah, just come tearing down that SES slope before they enter back into this first rock garden.
Those 2 rocks they actually go through right at the end of that kind of open section are really narrow, and there's about a 2-foot ledge on both sides. So you can see some drivers kind of slow up there, kind of check up a little bit. They're trying not to tag one of those rocks. We did see just let her eat. We did see a few UTVs yesterday have some issues in that rock garden, but so far the bouncers are making pretty quick work of it. Again, using that rear steer, whip around some of those trees. Again, you can see that tree with the tape around. That's where the UTVs were whipping around yesterday. Oh, no.
Oh.
Get back on your wheel.
Wait. There it is. Nice.
You can hear the crowd going nuts as he lands back on his wheels. Again, you can see a handful of drivers down there kind of checking the buggy out, making sure it looks good, making sure there's nothing wrong with it.
That's Wade Good right there.
Yeah, Wade's going at it.
Telling Ethan where to go.
And I'll tell you what, seeing the drivers out there helping other drivers, it just shows how awesome the camaraderie is in the sport.
Absolutely.
Oh, so close.
Oh, man. All right, when we're telling you guys this is steeper in person than it looks on camera, I think that top ledge, you got a little idea just now when he was basically vertical up there. And then we've been talking about the undercut aspect of it, too, which just sucks your tires down underneath, and it just adds to the difficulty here. And it's only going to get worse as the day goes on.
Man. You can see he was trying to get more of a come in with a sidestep, almost kind of like a high bank oval or something, or a high bank turn. And unfortunately, the back axle kind of caught that rock a little bit. Yeah, this is definitely a little more washed out, I think, than last year. Those rock faces just add so much, having that front end pop up, it adds so much more difficulty there.
Oh, that was like a pirouette.
It was.
In the air.
And just slides down the bottom.
Oh, I don't think he's coming back from that one.
No. Again, luckily you can see all our drivers there.
We got the thumbs up.
course workers trying to help get him recovered.
Heck of a try. Great run from Ethan Jones.
Man.
He gave it everything he had.
So, again, you can see the course workers running out there and helping them get him flip back over. In this series, guys can run up, they can look at your buggy, they can tell you what's wrong with it, but the minute you receive outside help from anyone,
where they touch the buggy,
yes, your run is over. So, again, it's, you hate to see that. I hate to see us run in that way, but I don't think he was self-recovering there.
I don't think that was going to happen.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen in a bouncer.
I've seen Bobby Tanner do it twice, both in the same run. But other than that, I think I don't think you're coming back from that. Again, if there's a little bit of a lip, I think that's going to help Bobby fling it back on 2 wheels. And he was kind of a full tilt racer. So I think he enjoyed putting on a show more than he enjoyed winning.
Bobby Tanner is definitely another one of those names. If you're new to the sport, you go ahead and look him up and see what you think.
Yeah.
Let's check out our Amsoil action shot.
Yeah, look at that.
Man.
That was the first rollover that Ethan was able to recover from. And here's the second one.
Dang it.
There's no coming back from that one. Just a slow, sad slide to the bottom.
He's like, look, it's a slide.
Oh, man. Another good view of how steep it is out there.
Dang it. You hate to see that.
So right now, Dustin Medley, our first driver out on the course today, the only one to cross the finish line so far with a 1:34. And then we've had Clint Garrison, Dan Bowman, and now Ethan Jones, DNF on the Mickey Thompson Mountain. And actually, Dustin's the only driver to have finished all day so far because our UTV Bounty class, all of them DNF'd on course 1 as well.
Again, you hate to see that.
Tough times here at Good Evening Ranch.
Yeah, this course is definitely going to play havoc today.
I see that we've got little Tim Bacon on the line, though.
Oh, boy.
And if anyone knows how to get rowdy, it's the Bacon Boys. So this is going to be a good run, too. Once we get Ethan Jones recovered off the course, we'll be sending Tim Bacon, and it's going to be good times.
You can even say that Bacon family gets too rowdy.
I see what you did there, Matt.
Well played. That's your Bree dad joke of the day.
Too
right there.
rowdy is the name of Tim's buggy.
Again, that's a super white. I love the white. It's just such a clean looking buggy, so sharp. Again, him and Bubba do stuff with 40spline.com, and so they have those axles and sheet metal housings, big knuckles, big C's, all sheet metal stuff with the third member drop-ins. Very, very tough stuff. I know a lot of guys are starting to go over to those sheet metal housings. Just saves a little weight, makes a little gain a little strength, and again, those guys are building some stuff that's pretty durable. If it'll survive a Bacon, I think you're probably okay. Big Tim, I got to hang out with him a little yesterday, and he's a pretty ornery guy, but we love him.
All right, guys, just a couple more seconds. We'll get the drone back in the air. I believe we've got a clear course.
I hear Ethan behind us.
He's working his way back over here to the pits.
Good job, Ethan Jones.
He said, wow, that's rough. Yeah, I'm interested to see there's a few buggies in this list I'm excited to see because they're kind of go big or go home kind of guys.
Absolutely.
So, this next guy sitting in the starting line is one of them. Little Tim is definitely a guy who likes to get in. He's very serious about his competition. He likes to get in there and make things happen. So he's got a big motor too. He's almost 600 cubic inch motor.
A 572 big block Chevy. All right, here we go with Lil Tim Bacon out on the course in Too Rowdy.
Again, Bree pointed out earlier, these guys are just coming up to it and just kind of hopping right up. We saw the UTVs struggle with it so much this morning. So
This is a brand new buggy for the 2025 season, so the first season that he has raced it, or first full season once we get to the end of the year. The Bacon brothers took a little bit of a sabbatical from racing, and we're glad to have Tim back out here with us this season.
Again, when you got kids in sports, it's a couple schedules going different places, doing different things. We understand it.
Yep.
We're excited for that. Glad they're back. Again, using that rear steer is really handy here, whipping around some of these trees in this rock section. Again, this park had a wee rock competition last week, so there was tons of rock crawlers going over this. They're more articulate, very careful. This is rock bouncing. This is kind of like a nonstop adrenaline.
Yeah, we don't call it rock bouncing for nothing.
We go as fast as we can.
All right, he's working his way through the RCV rock section. We're going to see how he handles the Mickey Thompson Mountain.
Come on.
Oh, no!
Stop. There we go.
Wait.
That big rock there. Dan kind of clipped that big rock.
All right. It's not over yet, guys.
I think that's the first time we've seen this buggy roll, this new chassis.
You can see Wade help giving us some direction on backing up there. We mentioned it earlier. When you've got your neck protection on, your Hans device, you're strapped in with your harness, you've got your full face helmet, visibility is limited when you're backing up. So that's one of the reasons these guys are out there helping and pointing out where to go.
Yeah, again, giving them some talk, kind of talking about where the best way to attack it. And again, I say this all the time. Again, Bree hits on it too. The camaraderie in our sport is just so special. Not many times do you have a competitor of yours out there giving you points on how to do better. You know, like, hey, man, I think you really get to have a better chance hitting it this side. And every buggy handles differently, too. So some buggies, they might say, hey, we saw your front end loading up here, or, hey, we think you have a chance hitting that right side. So we really think it's a great thing to really go to have a chance to hit there. And seeing that camaraderie is just so special.
Oh, definitely. That's definitely something that makes this sport special and sets it apart from a lot of others. We heard that he had a fuel leak, so they went ahead and shut him down.
Oh, man.
And looks like he's going to get some recovery assistance. Speaking of shutting down, we talk about some of the safety requirements for the bouncers. And obviously, when you're doing something this extreme, and actually, guys, this isn't even a super wild hill for us. We've had much worse. So speaking of shutting things down and safety, we have something called an RII box, and that means that we can remotely shut off a buggy if something were to happen to the driver or something is seen from the outside that they might not be aware of, and the buggy needs to go ahead and be shut down externally, remotely. We can do that to them. If you're a Monster Jam fan, then they do the same thing with their trucks, so you might already be familiar with that. But that's just another level of the safety requirements that we have out here. We want to make sure the drivers and all spectators, everybody out here is staying safe. So and again, that's one of those components.
So that's a great point, too, because in that buggy, you can't always see what's around you. So it looks like his front end just popped up and unfortunately wasn't able to bring it back down. Man, you hate to see that happen. Luckily, he did stop right before that big rock and tree. Like we saw Dan Bowman kind of tag and tear up that front axle, and was able to take back off, but unfortunately had some fuel leak. And I'm not sure if it's a fitting or what's going on there, but luckily they were able to get him stopped. And yeah, they said we call those rocks bank account killers. So looks like they'll get him recovered off the course. Yeah, minor details.
Well, guys, Matt Holt here is also one of our racers today. So, Matt, I know you got to go get suited up and get strapped in and ready to go. So we're going to let you go do that. Good luck. Have fun.
Yeah, I'll hop down on that hyperactive rock bouncer, and we'll be back with you guys shortly.
And that means that I am going to welcome in Zach Garner up here to the booth to fill in while Matt's out racing. Zach, welcome to the show.
Oh, man. I wish I could explain to y'all how happy I am to be here.
Well, Zach's been putting on his own show. Zach, you do the announcing to our spectators that are here in the crowd and do an awesome job with that. Keep everybody informed and entertained out here. So thanks for coming up here and filling in for Matt. What do you think of the racing that we've seen so far today, Zach?
Man, I can't tell you how excited I am to see. I mean, having a four-way tie for second right now?
That's one way to put it.
Pretty good. I mean, all those guys should be very proud. I had a lot of hope for little Tim on this last run.
Yeah, I know.
And he had got it in his head that he was going to fully commit, and he did. And like I said, a good bounce will get you up there. I really would like to be Dustin Medley right now.
I was just going to say, how do you think Dustin Medley's feeling about right now? Actually, no one who's sitting in the starting gate right now. We've got Clay Cayson is going to be running next. First ever time racing a bouncer. Usually we see Clay dominating in the UTV class. He's jumping in a bouncer for the first time today. What do you think he's thinking right now, Zach?
Right now he's thinking, holy crap, this thing is powerful. And it's going to be a little bit of adjustment, but Clay is a wheel man.
Yep.
And so he has a natural feel for the seat. He can kind of knows what the machine's going to do, and I'm excited to see this. I don't put any expectations on him or try to put any pressure on him.
Yeah.
But I have no doubt in my mind with experience and time, he could be a top contender as he is in the UTV class.
I agree. A lot like we saw Cooper go from UTV to a bouncer.
Yes.
And this is staying back. We talked about another Tim Cameron built buggy earlier, Dan Bowman Racing Tyrant. This is a TC built buggy as well.
Mm-hmm. He built TC built this buggy and then raced it in Texas and had a trailing arm malfunction, and that's when he pushed this one to the side and decided to replace it with unfinished business and or hell bent. Stand back. Yeah, stand back with hell bent because unfinished business was moneymaker.
We need like a flow chart for all the Tim Cameron buggies.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken,
there's a lot of them.
And when that buggy malfunctioned, he pushed it to the side, had a bad taste in his mouth, and he ended up building the phenomenon known as Hellbent, the most successful rock bouncer in all of rock bouncing history.
Which Daniel Heckley is racing.
In my opinion, one of the best looking buggies. When you Google rock bouncer, I want to see a picture of Hellbent because it's just intimidating looking.
I don't know. Menace is pretty has got quite a fan following too.
Menace is high tech and has the IFS front end, so it sets it apart, but it also gives it obstacles that not a lot of these buggies have. I don't want to be in Menace today on this ledge. Those big ledges with that independent front suspension and the wheel travel. Menace is not.
Well, since Brandon Davis isn't here today, we're not even going to get a chance to see Menace hit these hills. It's not often that Brandon misses a race with us, but
I don't think you'll ever see Brandon in Menace again.
Let's take a look at what Clay's doing out here, though.
Because Menace is under new ownership.
Oh.
And as a matter of fact, it's been added to Jeremy's stable.
Oh, we will be seeing Menace out here at some point, but it won't be Brandon behind the wheel.
Daniel Bowman bought Menace. And got rid of Tyrant.
He likes those TC-built buggies.
They said if you're going to be the best, you got to race the best. And in his opinion, those buggies are the best. So, makes sense. Yeah, Daniel Bowman now owns Menace, and he's trying to go through the bugs, get it adjusted, get it set up. But right now we're watching
Clay Cayson making it out the top.
That right there.
His first time racing in a bouncer. He is a wheelman, Zach. You pointed that out already. We've seen him dominate the UTV class for several seasons now. This is his first time inaugural race in the bouncer, and he is going to make it through the finish line. Our second driver so far here on course one.
Making a 4-driver tie for third place now.
With a 184.004. I'm thinking Clay Cayson's feeling pretty good about that run right now.
He should be on cloud 9 right now and be very proud of his run. Yep. Yeah, Jeremy Whitted owns actually both of those buggies at the race team, and so he's over there celebrating right now because he's got the only 2 buggies yet today to complete the course, and that goes for 2 classes.
That's right.
Amazing.
That's right.
That's an achievement. If nothing else done today, that's an achievement.
Well, we are not quite halfway through our list of drivers for Course 1 of the Mickey Thompson Bouncer Cup.
Yes.
We've got Kenneth Cozine on the line now.
This is this buggy's second race with the NRRA. It's a new buggy, new build. In my opinion, it's a really good build. He's got a wide stance, low center of gravity. He's a little bit underpowered, in my opinion, compared to the other buggies, especially the 2 that just made it. He's close, but he needs a little more whoop-ow. Kenneth's a good driver. He's driven, Bad Donkey for years and several other buggies over the years, and ultimately does a good job. And he took his time building this one, and he's still ironing out a few of the new buggy blues. But when he gets it all together and held on, he's going to be a contender in this class.
Yep, I believe it. He's been racing a bouncer since 2013, so
yes.
Talk about having some seat time. He was racing Bad Donkey, like you mentioned, for 5 years before he started this new build.
Yeah. Well, like I said, he's got an opportunity right now. Even with a slow finish, could move you into the 3rd place spot right now. So that's good and it's bad because it puts a lot of pressure, especially because he doesn't have a new buggy like this comes with the problems of you don't have a lot of security on the dependability yet because you may have missed a spot or until you build that confidence.
You're still figuring out the weak points and working out the bugs.
And it takes a lot of throttle timing to climb this hill. The biggest key to this hill is going to be throttle timing because it actually has 2 ledges, and you have to get the buggy set back down and unload the suspension before it hits the 2nd ledge.
Oh.
See, now what happened is he come in.
He unloaded the suspension all right, Zach.
No, he let out on the first.
Man.
He let out on the first ledge, and what that did is it compressed his suspension. It reduced the amount of up travel for his wheels, and by doing that, he didn't have enough up travel. So when it bottomed out the front end, it kicked the front end up too high, and that's what pitched him back. A lot of the drivers really need to know that having the suspension unloaded and having the ability for up travel is the determining factor on being able to climb the hill. My man. Hey.
Speaking of drivers, Clay Cayson just joined us up here in the booth. We're going to get a headset out for Clay. We want him to be able to talk with you guys and tell us about that amazing run that he just made. First time ever racing a bouncer. Clay, how are you feeling right now?
Ooh, I'm still a little shaken. I ain't even going to lie about it. The nerves were there, and whew, that adrenaline is back, boys.
So, first things first, coming off the line, the horsepower, what'd you think?
Oh, it's daylight and dark different from a UTV. Holy smokes.
It's overwhelming to me,
yeah.
Especially.
Honestly, I kind of wish I'd never got in it because now I'm going to have to own one for myself.
Uh-huh.
Oh, God.
There's no turning back now.
Oh, no, ma'am.
Okay, and now you obviously handling the big rocks and everything are bigger with the bigger tires and the more wheel travel. So that makes a big difference. Now, coming into this big hill over here, I saw that you had to come in with a head of steam, build your momentum.
Sure.
You had to take the first bump that not a lot of people can see, especially in the crowd.
Because it's got a little dip in it, so you can't really just run up to it. You got to roll it, because if not, you're going to just lift the tires, and then it's going to preload.
Well, so I'm going to ask you, because I think in my mind what the guys are doing, they're letting out for that dip. They're preloading their suspension.
Instead of just braking it really hard and going on.
You've got to unload before you hit the big
Correct.
ledge. And if you don't have anywhere for that built up, for that wheel travel to go, and that's what's going to kick them back every time.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we know how it's going to be done. I've seen this hill over the years get hard to climb and then easy to climb because they would dig it out, but then people would go up the top and knock the top out of it, and it would become easier.
Correct. Like
later.
last year, the first half the field greased it.
Yeah.
Greased right up through there, and then towards the end, started looking like that, and now it's really looking like that.
Yeah. So, like I said, it depends on the driver order, and that makes a big deal. When you're a driver out there and you're looking at the order and the people that go in front of you, and you're wondering what kind of buggy, what kind of horse pressure, if they're going to get stuck on the hill, they're going to soft hit it and dig it,
oh yeah,
or if they're going to just rocket up it and launch off of it and wreck, or if they're going to climb it. So that's all a factor. And who you're in front of or behind is big. So if you'll notice, a lot of these guys are on phones. They're trying, even when they get over there in this pit, they're like, okay, he went, but he didn't dig it. So it still looks the same way.
Yeah, I'd like to, huge shout out, though, for Jeremy with Off-Road Performance for letting me come and run his stuff. Couldn't ask for better people to come drive for, in all honesty. Yeah. Huge shout out to him for giving me the opportunity. And
congratulations on sliding right into that spot.
I know it.
Mm-hmm. Good job. And like I said, Jeremy's a great guy. Couldn't have met a nicer guy.
Well, you and Dustin both being on the Off-Road Performance
for sure
team, being the only two to climb the hill so far.
Oh,
I know all y'all got to be feeling pretty good.
Yeah, don't get too secure because
there's a lot of Matt Holtz up there. He's fixing to graze it.
We've still got half the field of drivers to go for course 1 here.
And
so, like you said, Matt Holtz on the line, and then,
you got Daniel, you got Connor, you got Wade, you got Nick Wright, Cooper Bentley.
John,
it's not even nowhere near over with yet.
I'm going to be the first one to tell you, I'm Matt's worst critic. Okay? I've given him more trouble than anybody in this whole racing world.
Oh, for sure.
But this year, I couldn't be more proud because he's doing the same thing that I wanted him to do from the start. In my mind, this is the first year that I've seen Matt actually put forth an effort to try.
He's climbed a lot of the stuff in the years that he wouldn't even attempt.
Yeah, and that's what made me mad is because I saw so much potential for him and his buggy.
I don't think he's ever went over that rock hardly before, and he is getting so much better.
It isn't about it's like he got his confidence, and one thing about it is I know he got the knuckles from little Tim Bacon, so that's a huge
he's got
deal.
some good stuff on the front end then.
Now realistically for the fans, I want them to know Matt is driving his buggy, but his buggy in comparison to the other buggies is considered inferior. It's top heavy, its suspension travel's low,
and it's old school.
Its horsepower is low, but you run what you brung, and you hope you brung enough.
Hey, he's out here doing it. He can say more than some people.
Yeah. And, the great thing about Matt, too, is he is such a passionate advocate and supporter for the sport, for the drivers. You guys see him in here in the booth doing the announcing. You see him out there doing the racing. He's on social media. He's promoting, and he loves it. He's such a passionate advocate of the sport.
I wish I had his social media.
Yeah, he's all over the place.
I get so overwhelmed with it because there's so much to keep up with.
Yeah, and he does a great job with that. So he loves the sport so much. He's involved in all these different aspects of it, and that is one of the things that I love about Matt for sure.
Yeah.
All right, here comes Matt in the long straightaway.
Well,
it looks like he's got up to almost 27 miles an hour.
Well, I'm going to leave y'all with it. Yep. I'm going to go get me something to drink.
Clay, thanks for coming up. Great job on your run. Good luck on course 2.
Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
Now, we separate the men from the boys right here.
All right, Matt is through the RCV Rock section. All right. How's he going to handle it, Zach?
He's going to handle it exactly like he's doing because, unfortunately for Matt, when it falls back to the horse pressure, the biggest obstacle is that he doesn't have the wheel speed and the horse pressure for this hill. It isn't about the want or desire at this point.
Right.
He's inferior when it comes to the equipment. And he realizes that, obviously, and I don't blame him right now. I don't have any ill will toward Matt doing this right now because when I said run what you brung and hope you brung enough, Matt did not quite bring enough. he doesn't.
But he's running it anyway, and that's the great thing about the sport is you can show up and you can run what you brung, as you say, and have a blast doing it. And you never know what might happen, too. You might find a course that actually is a little more suited to your buggy specs. And since not all of them are going to be, and sometimes you might be lacking the horsepower or whatever. But at the end of the day, you're here, you're racing, and you can have a great time with it.
I prefer the choice he made right here because keep in mind, he has another hill. And even if you go in with the mindset that you're making it or breaking it, you need to wait till the second hill because if he goes for it right now, and obviously he knows that for him to make it would be a miracle because of the horse pressure and wheel speed. It's just physics, folks. But if he plans on saving it, and then if he's going to give it a Hail Mary toss for the second run, at least he'll get his points. And I respect that, and I do think that is a smart judgment for him to make. different situation on the line right here.
Connor Flynn taking off that race line, starting line.
Looks like the Bullzilla's running naked today.
Yeah, Bullzilla's looking a little different than usual.
Still got the big tires, but he's got the side panels off of it. Maybe they did that to reduce weight. I doubt it. They're probably having them rewrapped. But the suspension on this buggy, to me, is soon to be legendary. It moves and eats up and soaks up some big boulders and rocks good, partly because of the giant tires. That's also a helpful factor. He looks like he's struggling more than I thought he would right here.
This is also one of our Ford-powered buggies. We got a handful of them out here racing in the series.
Some people are glutton for punishment.
Zach. I don't know. Connor's making it work, Zach.
Let me tell you something. That's an inside joke between me and Jay Storts. I texted in the group chat earlier how many Ford buggies would he have to own to be able to run the entire series.
Jay Storts is a Ford man, that's
yes.
for sure.
And I've got to thinking about it. We need to build him a Power Stroke buggy because the Power Stroke is a good motor. And obviously these gas motors are not working for him. He's got two, one blown up and one waiting for parts, and the other one not getting fixed because it's waiting for parts. It's just, with the LS, you got 5 buddies that have them and loan them to you. I mean, it's just, I'm pretty sure.
Well, we got one Ford buggy sitting at 3rd place this weekend, and Connor coming in at 9th right now, so they're making it work.
Yeah, like I said, they're glutton for punishment. I ain't saying it can't be done, but you got to want it, son.
And they want it all right. Connor's got a great run going right now, coming through that RCB Rock section. Like I said, he's coming into the weekend 9th in points overall, so he's hanging into that top, in with the top 10 at this point where we're halfway through the season. Connor comes out of Somerset, Kentucky to race with us.
All right, keep in mind, he's got a lighter front end because of the build of this buggy, so these are one of the ones that he doesn't look forward to hitting, so he's really got to be on top of his game. But like I said, his suspension is capable. Building the momentum and getting that front end back down fast enough is going to be his biggest struggle. He didn't have a good feeling on that run.
One thing we talk about in this sport is drivers picking their line. For our viewers that might be newer to the sport, I hope you're enjoying the show. Thanks for joining us here on Hillside Live and Power Sports World. So when we say they're picking their line, these drivers are out walking the course beforehand. Some of them pre-run, especially in our UTV classes. Our drivers do have the option to pre-run the course. And they are, they're picking out where are my tires going to go. Where am I going to stay to the left, stay to the right, whatever it might be on the course.
It's even bigger than that in this particular situation because the reason that these drivers back up so far and then take off is because, like I said, there is a momentum and there is a factor for loading and unloading the suspension. So if they can build up enough speed on the approach, then they can build and unload the suspension as well while keeping the momentum. That's so key. That's why you see the drivers that have been successful back farther down the hill and get a run at it.
Well, Zach, thank you so much for joining us up here. Thank you for sharing your expertise. And I know you've got a crowd of spectators to go keep entertained down there. So we're going to have Matt come on back up here.
All right. Well, thank you. My mother always said I had a face for radio, so this is really not my thing anyway. I appreciate it. And
thank you, Zach. All right, Matt, thanks for joining us back up here in the booth. Hope you had fun racing. We had fun watching you out there. We've got Daniel Heckley on the line, and we've got to give a shout-out to Max Off-Road for yesterday assisting Daniel. He broke a ball joint during his UTV run and had a couple of guys from Max Off-Road come and get it all fixed for him.
Wow.
In like 10 minutes. And he was back and ready to roll. for course 2. So we definitely got to give him a shout out for that. I know Daniel certainly appreciated it as well.
Yeah, that rock guard's kind of rough. I feel like it gets a little rougher each year.
I believe it.
The chassis was traveling those rocks up through my spine. I was like, you can feel it. And that hill is so gnarly. I was super awesome to see Clay Cayson finish it. I was going nuts.
He came up here and chatted with us a little bit. All right, Daniel is sitting 5th in points coming into the weekend, only 3 points behind Clint Garrison.
And again, with Clint not finishing course 1, that's going to be a huge door open for Daniel to pick up some points if he can get a finish. Again, I'm excited to see Daniel because this buggy is a very capable buggy. Daniel's a great driver. I think he may have a chance at climbing that big first hill on that Mickey Thompson Mountain.
Zach and I talked a little bit about Hellbent, which is the buggy that Daniel's driving, a TC built buggy. It is the most winningest rock bouncer out there from the years that it has been raced by Timmy and Daniel. Daniel actually came 2nd overall for the championship last season for the 2024 season. So we've seen him do some awesome things in this buggy, lay down some really fast times. We know he's a capable driver. We'll see how he's able to handle the Mickey Thompson Mountain.
Yeah.
And the time to beat right now is still Dustin Medley's a first driver across the finish line, 134.
Yeah, great shot of that rock garden there. That hard-mounted camera again showed you how violent that buggy bounces around while it's going through that rock garden. And again, here, this is that's like a 100-foot, 150-foot wide opening, and you have a lot of options there to navigate between those trees. So, again, there's a quick line, and I think there's a doable line. So, again, it's kind of interesting to see which line these guys take. Here we go.
Making it look easy.
There we go. Out the top, one-shotted it.
We told you that Daniel was a capable driver, y'all. There we go. Case in point. Oh, Daniel. Don't do that now. Okay.
There he goes.
He's got it. He's got it. Sometimes you're driving, guys, your adrenaline gets pumping.
Yes.
You are in race mode. If you make it up an obstacle, and then something might happen right afterwards, while that adrenaline is still pumping, it's not unusual to come flying off the obstacle.
Yeah, I don't know if it's not wanting to shift or what, but you could tell he was revving it to the moon, and it was not moving there for a second. He has to be geeked right now. Again, being able to come out and get a finish there.
Let's get that time
see what his time's going to be.
Daniel.
That's a 128.417. That is your new leader for today. However, we've only had 3 times so far.
That's right.
So,
and we've still got a lot of drivers to go. I see Wade Good sitting on the line right now.
Yeah.
But, man, awesome run from Daniel Heckley. That was fun to watch for sure.
That was incredible. That was awesome. Again, Wade, a guy who's also going to try to end up on the podium today.
Wade Good coming into this weekend 2nd in points, only 5 points behind Cooper Bentley. He had a first-place finish at our last race in Oklahoma. Just flung a rock over here towards the trailer.
So Wade was down here last night pre-running, and I'm interested to see what his game plan is for today. There was a bunch of them out there checking it out last night.
Now, Wade is one of those drivers that is not afraid to hang out on the ragged edge. He will push it to the limit, and he pulls off some really fast runs because of it. But every once in a while, things get a little too ragged, a little too wild out there. So hopefully that's not the case for him today. His time to beat right now is Daniel's 128.4.
Again, Wade coming through that rock garden again, using that rear steer whip around those trees. And I have no doubt he has the fact Daniel just set a blistering time in his head. Here we go. And he was down there watching bouncers earlier today, so
He was directing a lot of them. Oh, man.
There we go.
Smooth as silk.
The drone just gets pelted. See what that time's going to be.
It is so crazy to me how some drivers can make an obstacle look so easy after we've seen so many other great, capable drivers struggle on the same obstacle. Whoa!
Holy cow.
99.134 for Wade Good. Wow. I don't know if it's going to get any faster than that, Matt.
Yeah, I don't know if you can get much faster than that. 99.
Wow.
Wow. That is just a smoking time on that course. Again, and you know what? Had a nice, smooth climb up the hill. It wasn't super violent. He didn't just launch out the top. It wasn't anything crazy.
Right up.
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily a really violent run. It was actually just a nice, kind of smooth climb. And he clearly knew the perfect line to hit that at.
Well, he'd been down there at the bottom, not only helping the other drivers as they were backing up and also need some recovery, but he's also scoping out the best line, watching to see what worked and what didn't. And we've got Blake Harity on the line now. He is filling in for Clayton Smith, getting those points today.
All right, clock is hot.
And it's Zilla 2.0 out on the tracks now.
Get you whipping around that rock garden there. And again, there's a big rock right there. You can actually go around the tree or over the rock. And again, depending on how you front end bounces, that's what you're gonna choose.
I believe Blake raced with us at Rush
as
well. Definitely had the buggy out there.
Yeah, those
Jake Pike built.
Those iconic
buggy.
Orange wheels, I think, kind of stand out. Getting those rocks, you kind of got to slow up, check up a little for those rocks, just to make sure you don't tag one. I said we saw a side by side yesterday. Catch a little rock there and end up with a. Yeah, it definitely tore the buggy up pretty good. Again, I love how you can see those buggies just nose down. How steep that is.
Is this the first buggy that we saw Jake racing in?
No, the Ford Zilla was the original buggy.
Okay.
Which, that is that buggy's own. The Ford Zilla buggy currently is Nick Reich. Mm-hmm. And this is Zilla 2.0.
That's right.
And now there's like a handful of them out there.
Oh, no.
Dang it.
Right at the top.
Dang it.
Heck of a try for Blake.
Yeah, you hate to see that. Yeah, again, this Biggie Thompson Mountain is definitely claiming some buggies today. The top ledge, again, I think you have to just thread that needle just perfectly. Again, like I think we're going to see on course 2. I think you have to thread it
definitely
just perfectly, and that's going to determine how you're going to head up through there. Again, I think they're trying to look at how they're going to recover it. I would say probably put it in park and maybe flip it back over from the top. So our recovery times today are a little bit longer because the violence is not this rough normally.
Well, I would say we've had worse, we've had better.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Oh, looks like they are going to go ahead and push it over.
You have a good lightweight chassis. You go, that's not bad.
That is about as lightweight as they get out here.
You can see his front tire there still up on the rock. Getting that AMSOIL replay.
Just kind of a nice and easy. Up and over. And Blake had a really good run going up to that point. But, I mean, we could say that. We say that about a lot of our drivers right now.
And what stinks is it really doesn't matter how fast or how slow the first part of the course is. If you can't complete that uphill section, it's really, it sucks. Again, you want to see a guy set a quick time on the rest of the course, but if you can knock that down, right now you'd be in the top 5. All right, guys, while we get this recovery done, it looks like it's going to take a few minutes. We're going to take a quick commercial break for Power Sports World, and we'll be back right after these messages.
Thompson Premium Mud Terrain is on the road and full of undisputed attitude. The Baja Boss MT. No compromises, ever. We are purpose-built tires for truck and Jeep enthusiasts everywhere. All mud tires are not created equal, and here's the proof. Powerply XD construction, asymmetrical tread design, extreme side biters, and more. Find your tire size today at MickeyThompsonTires.com. All right, welcome back, race fans. We appreciate you tuning in to Power Sports World with us today. Again, we are on Hillside Live right now. We're about 2/3 of the way through Course 1. We have about 4 or 5 drivers left. And right now, I believe we have Nick Reich sitting on that starting line, again, as soon as we get that recovery done. So it'll be a little bit before we get that done, but we're so excited to see you guys back here. And again, Nick Reich coming into this weekend was sitting in 3rd for the season. So after watching Daniel Heckley and Wade Good make that, he is definitely going to want to capitalize on that. So that's super important for Nick, again, to try to stay in that top 3 for the season. We still got Ben Driscoll over there pulling around. So almost done with our recovery here. But we're super excited you guys tuning in with us today. It looks like that I'm pulling back. When they flipped him over, that tire was stuck up on that rock there. So
a lot of smoke coming out of Zilla 2.0 still.
It might be a little warm. And again, right now we're only 2/3 of the way through our bouncer class. We still have limited bouncer class after this.
Right.
And then after that we have our teen and youth program. So we're not even a quarter of the way through the day right now.
We got a lot of racing to do today, folks.
We really do. So it's going to be a great time. Make sure you guys stay with us. Appreciate it. We'll take a quick little break later on this afternoon, but you guys can go get some snacky snacks, get your great beverage. All right, we're going to take a break at 12:30. Again, that's Eastern Standard Time, and then we'll come back around 1:30.
And that's live here on Power Sports World.
Again, this Mickey Thompson Mountain has definitely claimed some people today. It's and again, it's been kind of that fine line of guys who can make it and guys they thread that needle just right. And again, we saw Daniel kind of come up full steam, kind of power into it. Wade was a little more chill approach, kind of eased into it. So we've seen kind of two different approaches, but both were able to make it. So huge shout out to those guys. All right. Again, this is our 6th race of the National Rock Racing Association. Our last 4, there are 3 regular season races. There's an awesome one at Pretty Place down in Tennessee.
Yeah, after we hit a Pretty Place, we'll be headed to Hawk Pride in Tuscumbia, Alabama towards the end of August.
And then round 9, we'll wrap up the regular season races at Rush Spring down in Pineville, Missouri.
And then that brings us to finals. We'll be at Wildcat Off-Road Park in East Bernstadt, Kentucky for 3 days, 4 courses for each class, double the racing for finals, double the points on the line, and it's going to be a good time. It always is. We also do a fun thing for our drivers and staff after finals every year, and we do an awards banquet where we give out the awards for the year. We all have dinner together. Just kind of like a fun way to wrap up the season.
Yeah.
Get everybody, all the drivers in one spot.
We get a little ornery.
And then that will conclude our regular season races. But before the year's over, we are going to have one other bonus race called the Battle of the Bouncers. And that is going to be in Jay, Oklahoma. So
yeah, that's gonna be a good time.
If you guys like what you see today with this racing action and you want to watch some more of it, you can always head to nationalrockracing.com and you can find the calendar of events for the rest of the season there as well. And you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram and on Rock Racing TV on YouTube to find our upcoming events and be able to watch some of that content as well.
Yeah, it's a good time. Again, like I said, you can always check on your favorite drivers, see exactly how many points they need to go up or how many parts they fell that weekend. Again, we've seen both. So, again, this weekend we have 4 drivers, I think, so far who've got times.
Yeah, the website is a great resource. Again, that's nationalrockracing.com. You guys can find all the point standings total right at whatever point we're at in the season and also for each individual race. So if you're curious to see how the drivers are doing or what it looked like earlier in the season, you can find all of that on the website, nationalrockracing.com. And hopefully, maybe there's a race that is going to be near enough to you that you could come on out and watch one in person as well, because that is a whole nother experience. We love having you guys join us here on Hillside Live, but if you can ever make it out to a race in person, that is definitely worth your while. And we've one more shout out to Dearborn Drone Co. because we would not have all of this awesome footage that we're talking about for you guys to go watch, for you to watch right here today if it wasn't for our awesome drone pilots helping bring that to you guys.
Yeah, they do a great job. And again, the view they give you is like cheating almost. It gives such a great, almost like a 3D picture. And then when they have to land or change a battery or move stuff around, it's always like, wow, you don't realize how incredibly easy some of that stuff is, and it gets such a great view.
Let's just say we haven't always had drones in this sport.
Yes.
That didn't come about until a few years ago. So you got to see what you could see, and if there was part of the course that wasn't on camera, that was just a bummer for you. So, yeah, we are super grateful for our drone pilots and having that awesome footage now.
They do a great job. Again, we love those guys, and again, bring awesome footage. I know I always go back and watch my race footage, and the drone guys do a great job showing us love. We appreciate them. Looks like they've almost got them situated down there. They got them at the bottom of the hill.
We are going to let them continue this recovery. Looks like they need just a couple more minutes. So we're going to share some more content with you guys from our fine friends at Power Sports World. And when we come back, we'll be ready to send Nick Reich off the line.
You know, when you open up a motorcycle shop, it's a gamble.
I love motorcycles, but most off, I kind of like to create them.
We can build really anything from the ground up, anything.
There it is.
The bike that John picked is an old dirt bike.
This one right here.
He literally went in his backyard and was like, that'll do.
Well, we got a good deal on it.
What even design? Like, how are we going to build this thing? And by we, I mean you.
I got a little angel. She ain't got no rough cut diamond.
I think it takes a little bit of cojones to cut into your motor. Someone's trying to hit a home run because they're on television.
Get to see, these parts that were around back then, still alive and relatively well. And then how it all kind of comes together. That's just as exciting as riding the bikes.
Oh my God.
Are you kidding?
I think we did hit a home run. Well, it's not because we're on TV.
Make this bike my bitch.
I want them to ride it. I want their opinion of it. At the same time, there's only one of those bikes. If they push it too hard and it crashes, I might cry.
All right, guys, welcome back, race fans. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Looks like we got the recovery all done. Course is clear, and Nick Reich in Fordzilla is sitting in that race line starting gate. And he is just sitting there chomping at the bit to get out there. Again, Nick does a great job. You can go to Nick Reich's racing page, and he does a lot on YouTube. He does a lot of great videos. You can follow him on his social medias. Does an awesome job.
Yeah, you can find him at Behind Bars Racing, Fordzilla Buggy, or on YouTube you can look him up at Fordzilla Rock Bouncer. He puts out some really great content.
He does. He does a great job. Some of his videos are very comical.
One thing to note about Nick, too, is he comes all the way out of Sheldon, Wisconsin to race with us. So I think he gets the award for most miles driven in a season to get to and from the races.
I used to get to whine about my driving because I'm coming from central Illinois, so I used to get to whine. Whatever my drive is, Nick has to add about 5.5 hours to his. So I'm like, oh, it took me 10. He's like, that's cute. That's cute. That was the second half,
So Fordzilla is another Jake Pike built buggy, just like we saw Blake Harity just run out on the course. And Nick does an awesome job piloting this rig. He is sitting third in points coming into this weekend with 424. He also had a third place finish at our last race in Oklahoma.
He is absolutely flying through there. Oh, wow. Just tags a tree. Doesn't even stop.
He just watched Wade Good put down a 99 on this course. So I don't know what's going through Nick's head right now, except maybe I am speed.
I am speed. You can see how big that turn is and how the guys are slowly drifting out like farther and farther as they're getting on the gas more and more. Again, Nick opting again to climb over that big rock versus go around it, and he is just blasting through that rock section. That is one gnarly rock garden. Nick making quick work of it. All right, here we go.
I do believe this is the lightest rig racing
here.
out here. Oh, Nick.
Caught a tree just a little bit. Getting set back up.
The lightest rig out here, but that doesn't mean you can't still hit a tree once in a while.
coming down, getting set. Here we go.
Oh, hey, nice.
There we go, out the top.
Well done.
And again, that buggy seemed to hang time forever right there. All right.
That probably felt like 5 minutes to Nick.
I'm sure it did. Yeah, that felt like eternity when he's just hanging in the air waiting for that buggy to come back down. And again, going to have a quick time. Is it fast enough for Wade's?
Ooh. 109.480.
Dang it.
10 seconds off from Wade Good, but still a smoking fast time and a great run on this
coming
course.
Right behind Wade, right in front of Daniel Heckley. So right now sitting in second place with that 109 time.
Guys, we've only got 3 drivers left for course 1 of the Mickey Thompson Bouncer Cup. And thanks to Nick, we can now say we've got top 5.
Top 5.
Top 5 times.
Wow. Yeah, man. That's crazy. Again, smooth run from Nick. Again, sitting in second place right now with that 109. Coming right in behind Wade with that 99 time.
So our top 5 rundown is looking like Wade Good with a 99, Nick Reich now with that 109, and
got Ben Driscoll sitting in that race line, starting 8 there. Again, Ben Driscoll coming out of Indiana, Central Indiana.
There's our leaderboard, Wade and Nick. Then we've got Daniel Heckley with 128, Dustin Medley 134, and Ethan Hunt, which was Clay Cayson running for Ethan Hunt with that 184. So well done to our 5 drivers that have crossed the finish line so far on course 1. Ben Driscoll now in Misfit, sitting on the line, ready to rock and roll.
All right, looks like clock is hot. Again, he picked this buggy up about midway through last year, brought it out to Rush Off-Road Park in Rush, Kentucky, and has been just getting so much more comfortable with it as the season goes on. Definitely getting pretty surgical with it. Again, that is such a tight little woods course there.
Ben comes out of Noblesville, Indiana to race with us. And this is his first full season here this year. Been racing here and there for about 2 years.
He is just ripping through there. Again, you can see guys are just, as the faster they go, pushes a little farther out each time. Again, right here, kind of necks down with some rocks. Guys checking up just a little bit. Again, Ben, also one of our guys that enjoys coming down and doing some pre-running. He's no stranger to coming down and checking out the hills and feeling it out. We've seen a lot more drivers over the last couple of years start doing that. Again, I think it was kind of superstition initially, but, don't want to break anything or tear the car up or have any issues.
There's definitely pros and cons. I mean, you get the course figured out, you get comfortable with it, but you run the risk of breaking something and either having to really hustle to get it done or maybe even not being able to fix it. So pre-running definitely, there's 2 sides to that. So we have some drivers that do and some that don't.
Uh-oh, they're saying he missed a turn, maybe?
Oh, did he miss a turn?
That's Wade Good. Again, the guy sitting in first place is literally stopping what he's doing to help his competitor. Again, that is just pure class.
I didn't see where Ben got out of course down here, but Wade was on a mission to tell him that here, so I'm sure they saw something and wanted to make sure. Our rule is if you correct your course and can go back like Ben is right now and do it the right way before you cross the finish line, that's allowable, that your run still counts. But if you get out of course somehow, you miss a turn, get on the wrong side of a flag, whatever, and you cross the finish line, then at that point it's a DNF.
Yeah, luckily Wade was able to catch him. Again, Ben counted up, line it up, checking it out. You can see how gnarly that undercut is getting. Although, like 40 staff sitting on that rock, just watching. I didn't really anticipate this being that much of an issue today. I mean, I knew there was going to be some issues because of that undercut, but, I mean, I'm very surprised we had this many DNFs.
Yeah, I knew course 2 is going to give us some trouble, but I wasn't really expecting this on course 1 either. But then we've had our handful of drivers that have been able to sail up it nice and smooth.
Yeah. Oh, right there. Oh, no.
Reverse.
Get back on your wheels. There we go.
Nice.
Again, that is I think where he was at is kind of the line that we saw Daniel Heckley take. But again, I think it's just getting slightly rutted out a little bit more each time. Again, you can see that buggy kind of bumping over the top of that buggy. Is kind of bucket to the right side.
Hey, 2 saves in a row.
Yeah.
Or at least 2 solid landings in a row.
Yeah, our skinny pedal list is getting real big. Real big.
If you guys have heard us talk about Skinny Pedal, we do something just for fun here called the Skinny Pedal Award. Our driver that has the wildest run, that has the most liberal use of the Skinny Pedal at each race, we have an award that we give to them afterwards, and it's purely just for fun. It's one of those things where it's like, well, you didn't get a trophy, you didn't get on the podium, but you still did something really cool, and you were entertaining for the spectators, so you get an award for that. We call that the Skinny Pedal Award. So we're getting a lot of Skinny Pedal nominees stacking up here.
Yeah. I see him climb out and give a good fist pump to the crowd. They're cheering him on, but unfortunately I'm not sure what's going on with the bug.
All right, they're going to get Keith Toolman up there. Keith, the tool man.
Yeah.
Helping out with recovery. We'll get Ben off the course, and then we've still got Johnny Gibbs and Cooper Bentley.
All right. We're going to have 2 Amsoil action shots coming down. Again, he was able to save it twice, which is really awesome to see. Coming up. And again, this is as he kind of went up, lined it up, and then kind of, you can see that front end kind of buck and kick over just a little bit. Yeah, and it just came back on those back tires, just ever so gently teetered back there. You still feel it in the buggy, but it was much smoother than maybe something like a super violent rollover. And luckily, landed back right there. The buggy was level enough to where it was kind of just gliding down. And here's the second rollover. And unfortunately, this is going to be the one that does them in. But come over, kind of hit that front end. You can see how fast it just ricochets right up in the air. And unfortunately, unable to throw it in reverse quick enough, and rolled over and was not able to get a finish out of it, which stinks. Again, we have had 5 guys so far finish the course. So. Looks like they got him turned around. I think they're going to just try to pull him off course.
And we've got just 2 drivers left for course 1. And then we are going to be ready for our limited bouncer class. And we've got our UTV teen class and youth classes still.
Yeah.
Course 1 for everybody. And we'll be taking our break from 12:30 to 1:30. And we'll be back with round 2 for all classes.
Yeah, we have a ton of racing still to go today.
We've got Johnny Gibbs on the line now. Johnny is running for Jay Stort's points today.
And Johnny, our first driver to complete a course at Rush Off-Road Park. That infamous little dirt corner we had, and Johnny came up and just kind of sent it, landed on top, and made it look easy almost. Again, Johnny also racing a Jake Pike built chassis.
It's not often that we've got all three of them out here at once. It's going to start stacking up like our TC buggies pretty soon.
I said, I'm Johnny. Johnny's kind of a wild man. He likes to send it, too. This morning, Clyde was talking about the course, and this is going to be this, and Johnny goes, where do we start and where do we end? Wade was in the back and goes, who brought this guy?
I guess that's really all you need to know.
Yeah. We were back there. Wade was goofing around being funny. Johnny, again, a heck of a competitor, comes out. This is a very, very capable buggy. Johnny's kind of wild man driver. Definitely enjoys getting out there and having fun with it.
Oh, going around the big rock. This is these Jake Pike built buggies are very lightweight, very nimble, which is good for these rock gardens.
Yeah, that's a great point, Bree. A lot of chassis out here are designed with DOM tubing. They'll go like 120 wall, 180 wall, maybe a little quarter-inch wall. Jake uses chromoly tubing, and with chromoly tubing, it's in theory twice as strong, so you can go half as much tubing. So these buggies, a lot of times the actual chassis of it will weigh much lighter than a normal chassis. And if he does decide to go heavier, that means it'll just be much more durable in the long term. But yeah, definitely you can see that tight-knit group, much like Ford Play or Fordzilla. Kind of that real tight-knit chassis. There's not a lot of overhang in the front and back. Very football-ish type design.
Yeah, there's no excess on there.
Yeah. See him whipping around those trees there. Again, I'm sure he's getting some pointers, trying to get everything lined up down there. I'm not sure what's going on.
Yeah, this is not the run that we usually see from Johnny Gibbs. We're hearing there might be something wrong with his rear steer. I can't really see that it's sticking, but it's hard to tell from this angle.
Yeah, it looks like it snapped right to left there. To have a rear steer snap like that, it
does look like it might be stuck.
Must have a valve stuck open, allowing that rear steer to kind of whip back and forth. Oh. Holy cow. And he's like, I'm still going to give it a college try.
Oh, yeah, it's Johnny.
Dang it.
Wait for it. Oh, no.
Oh, look at him. Look at him. Dang it. I for sure thought he was going to just gas it once he landed on the passenger side to see if he could upright that buggy, but unfortunately not. The Mickey Thompson Mountain claims another victim. Dang it. You hate to see that. Again, Johnny Gibbs, great racer. Definitely does a great job. Very fierce competitor and kind of a wild man driver. I'm very impressed to see that he had very little to no rear steer capabilities and still was like, you know what? I'm still going to send it. We're still going to have a good time out here.
We got our fire aid out there. That stuff's amazing.
You can see him squirting a little bit, but I don't know if that's just some oil dripping on a header. All right, we got our Amsoil action shot here for you. Again, he absolutely went up there. You can see the rear steer just whipping around. And still had a heck of a try. Almost made it, too. Unfortunately, it caught a little bit, brought him around, and wasn't able to.
The rear steer was just doing its own thing today.
It really was.
Mind of its own.
It was not unfortunately where we wanted to see, but heck of a try by Johnny Gibbs. Does a great job for us. Always a full send kind of guy. But unfortunately today, not what he was hoping for. Oh, no.
Dylan down.
Dylan down.
Dylan Dowler down.
Dylan down.
I'm sure he's glad we caught that on camera.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he had a great day racing yesterday.
He did. That Dylan Dowler took first spot in both of our UTV classes yesterday. Guys, we have just one bouncer driver left for course 1.
Yeah, Bree, this course 1 has been just absolutely violent. But course 2 is really where we saw the last couple of years, really where we've seen that many crashes, that many rollovers, that many problems. So I'm kind of excited and a little nervous for course 2 just because we've had so many violent rollovers. But it should be a really good afternoon. Oh, no!
Oh, no!
Tree, catch that tree. All right, he might be laying back on his wheels. Oh, man. I think he's good. Oh, no. Get back on your wheels.
Oh, man. It almost worked. He almost landed it at the top.
He's got a flat. That's not good.
Here we go.
I don't know. We don't need the wheel to hit. Nope.
Oh.
Tree. That's tree. Yeah.
Not good.
Oh, man. He had a great run going.
Go, go, go!
Oh!
Right there. If he can keep the... Oh, he is right there.
Oh, no! He is over, and he is not going to be able to self-recover from this one, unfortunately. All right.
See what he's going to do.
Oh, went far left.
Get back on the wheels.
Wait.
There he goes.
All
yes.
Right. It's not over yet.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
Ooh. Get back on the wheels. On the wheels.
Wow. Nick, be cool. Be cool. Oh. Wait.
He's caught in the tree.
No, I don't.
What do you do now?
I don't know how he can get out of that.
I think he's going to try to push pressure against the tree and maybe swing the front end around.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
Dang it.
And fish hook.
Welcome back, guys. We are ready to send Cooper Bentley off the line, our last driver for course 1.
Again, Cooper is our current season leader right now in the Rock Bouncer class. He is definitely want to come out and make a statement. However, we have 5 very fast times, so...
The time to beat right now is a 99 from Wade Good, and Wade is only 5 points behind Cooper coming into this weekend for the championship. So let's see how Cooper can handle the Mickey Thompson Mountain and what kind of time he ends up with here.
Again, just floating through that high-speed section there. Absolutely just thrashing through this rock garden.
Cooper was also on the podium in second place for our UTV Cup class yesterday, so he's getting his full weekend's worth of racing here. And ended up taking the points lead in the Cup class as well.
He is flying by us now.
I believe Cooper's also one of our youngest drivers at maybe 19, somewhere around there. He started out racing with us in the UTV class. It still races UTV, of course, like I just mentioned, but has been making waves in the bouncer class, too.
Get back there. Oh, there we go.
Oh, okay. Still with it, Cooper.
Yes.
Fun fact about Cooper, his favorite drink is chocolate milk. I think we need to get him a chocolate milk sponsorship.
I agree.
So,
Prairie Farms would definitely help
know
out
of
there.
anybody out there.
I see a lot of steam or smoke coming from that front end. I'm not sure what happened. I'm not sure if he smoked a belt or what happened, but.
So that's in the fire suit pointing things out right there. Talking to Cooper is Wade, who is only 5 points behind Cooper, his biggest rival right now in the bouncer class. But he's running out there to help Cooper and help him figure out what's going on, what's wrong, see if he needs recovery.
Again, coming in today, 5 point difference.
Yep.
Course 1, Wade right now has fastest time, and he's our last driver, 50 points. Cooper had a DNF, so there's 10. So there's a 50-point difference swing right there. But Course 2 is anybody's game. We have no idea how this day is going to shake out.
Literally no idea.
So again, it's always very interesting to see how it's going to shake out for the day, but anybody's game. All right, we got an Amsoil action shot real quick. Again, Cooper came up, kind of hit that left side. You can see that front end just rocket up into the air. Unfortunately, was not able to get it slapped in reverse and bring it back down. But I'm not sure what happened to that front end, but we'll see if we can't find out and help you guys out.
And we do have a guest joining us up here in the booth. We've got Kenneth Cozine coming up to chat with us. Kenneth, tell us a little bit about your run today, what that Mickey Thompson Mountain is feeling like down there. What's your take on the course so far?
Yeah, I came into this course battling some issues with the buggy. Of course, it's a brand new buggy. This is only the 4th race on it, so came in with a mindset of just wanting to finish 2 courses and put 2 good races together. And after about the 3rd buggy to roll up on it, that hill just completely went away. There was a couple lines, really decent lines that we were all trying to pick out, and by the time I got to it, I think I ended up turning left way too soon, and that's what threw the buggy up in the air, and I rolled over and didn't finish the course. But it's had its toll on just about every other driver out there.
It sure has.
I think we've only had 4 finishers.
We've had 5.
5 finishers.
So yeah, it's been a rough course 1 for sure. Did you have any damage to the buggy?
Luckily, no. I done a good check over, and I think all that happened was it lost a little bit of oil and maybe some power steering fluid. So we'll get it topped off and be ready for round 2.
All right, you got a game plan for course 2?
Luckily I'm pretty far back in the pack, so I think I'll be almost last.
And it looks like Cooper is not ready to call it quits just yet. We're not sure what exactly had him stalled out down there, but I think he's taking another run at it.
Yeah, looks like there's still a little bit of steam, a little bit of smoke or something coming to the front, but again, his dad is standing on next to him, so I'm sure his dad will give him some good encouragement.
Cooper's in the points chase, so he's really wanting to finish the course and not end up with a DNF. So that's why he's trying so hard.
Oh, stink.
See if he can stick the landing.
No.
Maybe one more.
Oh,
yeah.
So close.
Dang it.
Man, we hate that for Cooper.
That sucks for Cooper.
Dang it.
Kenneth, we talk about this a lot, and we'll get your take on it, too. But we can see Wade down there helping with everybody, all the drivers that are down there, and especially Cooper right now. Wade's got the fastest time. Wade was only 5 points behind Cooper coming into this weekend. What do you think about the camaraderie of this sport and how everyone is just willing to help each other out, even though, obviously, the competition is still fierce?
I've been in the sport a long time, going on right smart of 15 years or so. I've been around it for a long part of my life, and there's really nothing that compares to it. No other motorsport that compares to the camaraderie and the amount of willpower, I guess you could say, from the drivers. Everyone wants to see everyone else do good.
Mm-hmm.
We want to. If we want to beat you, beat you at your best. And
right.
If I wasn't here right now, doing an interview with you guys, I would be right there with them, flipping those guys over and making sure they're good. They become family, just like what. Just like a brother of ours.
And you did do that for a couple seasons when you weren't racing. You had your build going on, but you were still coming out and putting that yellow vest on,
right.
And being here to support and hang out, be part of the family.
Right.
Yeah.
And Wade and I are really good friends, and we normally travel together and pretty much do just about everything racing related together, and that has pretty well spilled over into the other driver side of it. I'm willing to help anyone, whether it be a UTV or bouncer or whatever you're in. So
yeah.
The few years that I took off to build the new buggy, I was right there with everyone else, and
yep.
Always willing to lend a hand. So.
And again, as a racer, we appreciate that, because today it's you that have the broken bolt that needs it to borrow up my trailer. Tomorrow it might be me who needs
right.
a wrench or a spark plug or who knows what. We have second course. We talked a little bit about. We showed a recap video of last year, how violent course 2 is. The course is really, really rough. What are your plans going into course 2, and how do you think that's going to develop?
This is actually my first time being to West Virginia and Good Evening Ranch, so I really like the park, and the Hill 2 is very intimidating. But
yep.
luckily, I'm late in the pack on Hill 2, and I'll get to see a couple other drivers hit it, and I'll hopefully make up a game plan after
make
some
some
other
adjustments.
drivers are able to climb it there. So.
Well, we look forward to watching that, Kenneth. I know you're going to give it one heck of a try, one way or another. Thanks for coming up here and chatting with us.
No problem.
We appreciate it. We always like to hear from the drivers. Cooper is officially a DNF now, so that means we do have a quick replay that we're going to show. We've got our AMSOIL action shot.
Man. Looks like I just came up in that right side a little too much. And again, it's crazy to see how that front end is just shooting straight up in the air with that undercut. Unfortunately, not able to quite put it back on its wheels. Luckily, they were kind of slow-ish rollovers. It wasn't super violent. Can pick it up a little bit of speed there.
True test, strong suspension components.
Yeah. Yeah, and the chassis design, all of that. It speaks volumes to the type of vehicles that we're racing.
And props to Cooper for, keeping his head about him and being willing to give it another shot. Sometimes people get rattled, and when you're in the point stage, you got to be willing to.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what the issue was. Again, he had backed up and they saw some smoke. I'm not sure if he had an oil cap come off or what the deal was there, but.
All right, guys, that means we can take a look at our top 5 results for Course 1. And top 5 is all we had for Course 1 anyway. So here they are, Wade Good hanging on to the lead with that 99, with Nick Reich following closely with a 109.
And then Daniel Heckley rounding out that top third spot. Dustin Medley coming in 4th, and Ethan Hunt literally top 5. Are those the only 5 finishers we have?
And that was Clay
Cayson
running for Ethan Hunt's points. So which we got to give him a shout-out for his first race ever in a bouncer and ending up in 5th place on Course 1.
And finished the hill. I am so impressed.
Yeah. All right, guys, so that does complete Course 1 for the Mickey Thompson bouncer class. That means we are ready to get into our limited bouncer class. Now, our limited bouncer class definitely has some regulations in order to make it limited. Matt, do you want to go over those for us?
Sure, again, this is pretty similar. You can see the rear steer is not allowed and a 39-inch tire minimum. That's very similar to our big bouncer class. And the rear steer is definitely a solid. You cannot have rear steer. And then there's 3 things. You have to meet 2 of the 3, OEM engine block, power adders, or the shocks. Again, those are super important. And again, as long as you meet 2 of those 3, that is super important. And so you could take a unlimited bouncer and make it into a limited bouncer. We've seen some guys do that. Again, we appreciate this class, and this is a great way to kind of get in, get your feet wet, and see if you want to do this whole big, bad rock bouncer thing. A lot of times they're even racing a course that's similar or even the same as our course, so we appreciate these guys. They come out, they have a lot of fun, and it's a great way to kind of get your feet wet if you're only able to do a few races or if you're not sure if you want to necessarily jump into the big dog class.
Yeah, or this might be a rig that they already had at home that they've been, maybe built a few years back, been trail riding or something, and it's not necessarily at the same level as what's being built these days, but still race-worthy. So the limited bouncer class was new for us for this season, and hopefully I think we'll just continue to see it grow.
Yeah, again, like I said, I know we've had a handful of guys hop in there and race with it. Pretty excited to see how it comes out.
This is Eric Beck racing today.
He's
racing right now.
Local to the park. I got to talk to him this morning. That teal and purple wrap kind of splattered on there.
I know you like that teal, Matt.
Oh, yeah. He said they just got it done not too long ago. He's really excited about bringing it out and racing this weekend.
Awesome. Glad to have him out here. Guys, we run 7 different classes. I mentioned it earlier. We really have something for everybody here, all the way from the youth classes to multiple UTV classes, the limited bouncer, and then the big bouncers, the unlimited bouncer. So there's something for everybody. If this looks like fun to you, if this is something you think you might want to give a try and get into, you can go to nationalrockracing.com. You can find the regulations for all of our classes there, safety requirements, all that good stuff, as well as our schedule of events for the rest of this season, and see if there's going to be an event nearby for you, or maybe you want to come on out, give it a try, or sign your kids up and have them join the youth class, something like that. If you think that you might be interested, you can get all that good information at nationalrockracing.com.
Yeah, again, that's a great point. We literally have something for everyone, no matter what your budget or what your size or age is.
Yeah.
We have something that you can hop in and do some racing with us. Come up to that rock garden again. You can see how gnarly some of those rocks are. Hear that motor ripping through the woods. Again, just coming up through that rock garden.
Working his way through that RCV rock section. All right, and here he goes, tackling the Mickey Thompson Mountain.
Whoa. Back on the wheels. Almost.
Whoa.
There we
Nice.
Yes.
We always like to see him stick the landing. It does look like it's leaning a little bit, though. That's Cody Cayson right there in the red shirt. He is always quick to help with recovery and driver assistance when he is not racing himself.
Looks like he's making sure his Hans is okay. Again, sometimes your seatbelts can get kind of hooked on there, so I think he was checking his safety gear there. Give the buggy a once-over, make sure it looks good.
All 3 of those guys standing there are drivers. That's Richard Hodges, Daniel Heckley, and Cody Cayson. And just like we were talking about with Kenneth, having the drivers, they're all ready to put on that vest and assist with recovery when they're not racing.
All right, we got an AMSOIL action shot here. Again, you can see that front of the buggy kind of just come up and wasn't able to get it thrown in reverse quick enough. Because reverse is not something you typically want to be using during a race. But something like this, you definitely want to have it handy. Looks like they're getting it checked out again. Daniel Heckley trying to help them get it figured out. Man.
All right, guys, for our Power Sports World audience, thank you so much for joining us today. Just a heads up, in about 10 minutes at 12:30 Eastern Time, we are going to be taking a break. We will be off air for 1 hour, and then we'll be coming back at 1:30 to continue our racing action on Power Sports World.
Looks like Keith Toolman's getting hooked up to him over there. Again, we thank Keith and all he does for us. He keeps all of us going, all of us moving in a forward direction again. Sometimes it's a bolt or a wrench.
He keeps you going when you can't move yourself.
Yes. I've used his he has an onboard welder we've used to weld my buggy back together.
Looks like they're getting Eric Beck recovered off the course now. We've got 2 drivers left for limited bouncer course 1.
Sharp looking buggy. And that's he told me flat out. He said, I know you'll appreciate this. I got a little teal in the wrap. He told me before I even got to see it. So, but definitely a super clean looking buggy. Excited he got to come out and do some racing with us. Again, appreciate Keith and all he does for us. Again, getting us all lined out. And I know we have our recovery guys all out there helping getting them hooked up and pulled out of the way.
Here we go with Dustin Carter now out on the course.
Again, I love this neon color. Got neon yellow kind of just popping through the woods there.
Dustin coming into the weekend second in points behind Justin Hobag. Justin with a really solid 57-point lead in limited bouncer class so far this season.
And this is a very rowdy bouncer. I don't know if you can hear him as he's mashing on the gas is coming through here, but definitely a very, very rowdy bouncer. Kind of squeezing through those rocks out there in that field. Again, you definitely don't want to tag one of those at high speeds. It would not go well to the buggy. Kind of romping through that rock garden there.
All right. Moment of truth.
Ooh, that's not bad. I do like that line a little bit. That's incredible. He just romped on it. Dang it. Get back on your wheels.
Hey, that's a good save.
I love him. In fact, he was able to keep it on all fours. Again, having that right line is so key here. I think right there is the line. Again, you need to have the most suspension out of there and definitely work out. Come on, get up there. Oh, man.
Oh.
Dang it.
Oh, man.
Hate to see
Hate
that.
that for Dustin Carter.
He was definitely trying to give it everything he had, trying to get up there. And he had a couple of really good lines that way he just couldn't climb out of it. Again, such an awesome day of racing so far. Not at all what I expected for Course 2. It was a very, very eventful morning. I mean, a lot of more DNFs than I anticipated. I knew we'd have some, just because that ledge and the little undercut. I knew we'd have some there, but I really didn't see that. I guess, what do you think we're going to see out of Course 2 now?
Well, I was expecting this level of carnage for Course 2, so I don't know. More of the same?
Yeah.
Going off of how last year was,
Yeah.
which we've shown you guys some of the highlights of that carnage that we had right over here last year. I'm judging we're going to have a little bit more of the same, but I think we are probably still going to have some of those drivers that somehow still make it look easy.
I think
mixed
so.
in there.
Again,
just to keep us on our toes.
Yeah.
Keep us guessing.
Yeah, again, only 5 drivers finished Course 1. And usually that's what we see on Course 2. 3, 4 drivers on Course 2. I know it's changed a little bit. And they cut a tree down, it looks like, and they moved some stuff around. The dirt's kind of washed out a little bit. That may make it easier. How many guys do you think we're going to see that can't get stuff fixed for Course 2? I think there might be some attrition.
Yeah, that's going to be that'll be a factor as well. They've got a little bit of time here to work on things while we run other classes before they got to get lined up again. But, I don't know. It's definitely a factor.
Yeah, I've seen Ben Driscoll up there pulling up. I think we're going to see a handful of guys kind of head up there, get some stuff changed, get some stuff checked out, at least give the buggy a good once-over, run through a bolt check, make sure things kind of still, you take a barrel roll 2 or 3 times, make sure everything's still back where it needs to be on the buggy, and then hopefully get it put back together and come back and do some racing with us this afternoon after our little break here. Again, I'm excited. I think Course 2 is going to be, unfortunately, a lot more carnage.
Well, considering that we only had 35% of our drivers finish Course 1, it's going to be interesting. Hopefully you guys can join us after we take our break. We're listening to some radio updates to share with you guys.
Again, I think Clay Cayson was the star of the day, coming out.
Yeah.
I mean, first time at a bouncer, hopping out, having fun.
Yep. And ended up in 5th place.
Yeah.
All right, this is Justin Hoback going out on the Course 1 for a limited bouncer. He is our last limited bouncer driver for Course 1.
Yeah, again, I think he's kind of going with the same kind of plan, is that go out there, get some points. With, again, just like UTV Bounty, everyone in his class did not finish. So at this point, going out there, get some points, and not tearing the buggy up is super important, and then kind of save the buggy for Course 2, see how it plays out. So pretty excited.
All right, and while Justin completes his run here, we are going to be taking our break shortly. We will be back at 1:30 Eastern time, so you guys don't go too far. Go grab yourself some lunch, come right back, and join us for more racing action. We're going to run back to course 2 for our classes. We will see you guys then at 1:30.
All right. Again, Justin having a great run here. Again, just trying to get some points on the board. I think he kind of made that clear to our staff on the course. I think he just said, hey, I'm going to come out. I'm going to get some points, have some fun with it. Again, same as the limited bouncer is the same as the UTV Bounty, all having the entire class is having DNF. So at this point, you're just trying to save the car, keep it going, and no sense in tearing the car up, clearly with nobody else making it. It's going to be a 3-way tie for our UTV Bounty and our limited bouncer class. So Justin coming out, having some fun. And again, you get some more seat time, feel good.
Well, yeah, seat time is a huge factor of it. It's hard to... Let's see. It's hard to just only drive it around at home maybe once in a while, maybe around your yard, maybe around some trails if you have them. It's not the same thing. It's not the same feeling as when you're in there racing.
Yeah.
So the more seat time you can get in an actual race environment where you're fully strapped in, you got some adrenaline going, and you're having to pay attention, to the course and everything. That's excellent for gaining that experience, and it's really the only way to truly get that seat time experience for a race.
And again, it helps you become so much more dialed in, and the mistakes you make and you learn from later, you go, oh, I wish I'd done that, or this would work a lot better. So it definitely does very well, and helps you become that much more in tune with your buggy and with your driving style.
So it looks like that is going to wrap up limited bouncer class, course 1. Unfortunately, all 3 of our UTV Bounty and our limited bouncers were DNFs on course 1, but they will live to race another day, as we like to say. Live to race course 2.
Yes.
In fact, not too long from now. So we still have our Super Grip UTV teen class, and we've got our youth class as well. And we're going to take a short break, and then when we come back, we will be ready to start sending our UTV teen class off the line.
The Mickey Thompson Premium Mud Terrain is on the road and full of undisputed attitude. The Baja Boss MT. No compromises, ever. We are purpose-built tires for truck and Jeep enthusiasts everywhere. All mud tires are not created equal, and here's the proof. Powerfly XD construction, asymmetrical tread design, extreme side biters, and more. Find your tire size today at MickeyThompsonTires.com.
Right, and we are back here getting ready to kick off our UTV teen/amateur class. Super excited. Looks like we got 4 of those racers racing with us today. Again, looks like they're getting staged up, pulled up into that race line starting gate. I think we're good to go. We're trying to get everybody lined up there. Again, our teen classes, they're pretty competitive. We're going to get a quick break from our TV show. Again, appreciate all our online listeners with us. Shout out to everybody on our live feed and our tuning in, giving us comments on our YouTube channel.
A couple notes for our teen class. This was new for this season. In addition to our other classes, this is for drivers 17 and under. They have to have not podiumed in a race in any points series. They are to be driving full-body UTVs, and our youth class drivers can't run both teen and youth. So youth class goes up to 12 years old, and then our teen class is for up to 17.
Mud Shark on the chat said, we're going to call the recovery crew the uh-oh team.
Yeah.
I feel like today it has been that. It has been a lot of uh-ohs today. Like, oh, man, stink.
And hello to everybody joining us online. I know we haven't been able to interact verbally with you guys as much as we usually do, but we see your comments. We're glad for you to be joining us. I know it's a little different with the listening to us do the call-outs and everything for the TV break. So thanks for hanging in there with us. Hopefully hasn't been too confusing.
Yeah, again, shout out to everybody tuning in. Again, we got Vern tuning in from Montana. I know Mud Truck's on there. I know Ninja Pat was in there. What's up, buddy? Got a handful of our faithfuls in there tuning in today. Appreciate that.
Well, and speaking of us being live on TV, you guys can head to pswtv.com, Power Sports World TV, if you want to see what that's all about. And there's lots of different places that you can watch that on there.
And again, so the places when you go there, you can check out Roku, Sling, Freecast, Local Now, Fubo, Stream, Stack, and Dazen. That's going out to 80 countries, they said, which is super awesome to see.
Yeah.
Again, we like partnering with new people. It's always exciting to see. Again, watching it go out to live television is very cool. Looks like they're getting Bentley Havens backed in that race line, starting to get over there. Getting him all staged. Again, you can see like a bunch of the bouncers pulling up there. Hanging out. Wade Good coming up to get some snacky snacks.
What's up, Sparky?
Coming up, getting some nerds, getting some snacky snacks. He said, my nerves are gone. Oh, yeah. Yes. That's okay. They'll learn. They don't know what a rock bouncer is till today either, right? Yeah. Those guys know what snacky snacks are.
What, the Icelandic guys?
Yeah, the Icelandic guys. All right, we got Bentley Havens ripping out that race line starting gate, kicking off our teen/amateur class. Again, Bentley was our first racer to graduate our youth program to head to the full-size rig. Glad he's out here. He was out pre-run a little bit last night.
Brantley is also leading in points coming into the weekend with a solid 24-point lead, and he had a second-place finish at our last race at Fiddler's Bend, Oklahoma.
Fiddler's Bend was a fun track. It was a good time. I think everybody had a good time there. I think it was the first time we ever had, somebody said this later and it totally made sense, first time we've ever had bouncer class where everyone finished course 1 and course 2.
Really?
And I was like, yeah, makes sense.
I think the park was great except for getting in and getting out of it.
Yeah, with the rain. When I was watching, motorhomes getting pulled out with a dozer because there was so much rain, I was like,
yeah, that was the struggle.
That's not good. Again, Bentley coming down that same course the bouncers came down.
Brantley also did a little racing in the stock class yesterday for getting some points for Don Curtis.
Again, this is a long drive for Don Curtis. This is like, coming from
Kansas.
Yeah, that's a long drive, that middle central U.S. Don Curtis was our inaugural season champion of our VIN class we used to have. Appreciate him and his family always coming out and having a good time. Brantley out there just tagging some rocks. That's a 99.139 for Bentley Havens.
Nicely done.
It's gonna be a very eventful day, I think, with course 2.
Oh yeah.
Ninja Pat said he's coming home from work. What's up, Sparky? What's up, buddy?
Sparky, Connor was a DNF, unfortunately. But he's not alone. We had a whole lot of them.
There was like
course
15 or 18 of those today. We had our top 5 is the only finishers we had. Which, again, shout out to Clay Cayson. That dude today had an awesome job. He hit it perfect, sent it, and it worked out flawless. All right, we got Josie Northington, looks like, on the starting line.
Man, Josie Northington came out at Fiddler's Bend. I think it was her first time ever racing with us. And she laid down like such a fast run. Everybody was having a blast watching her just hammering around the course. We brought her up for a little interview after, and she's like, well, I couldn't just let my brother beat me, that easily. I just decided I needed to go faster.
She
She
full
did a great
tilt
job
racing. She wanted to make a statement. And I was thinking, there's no way her brother's beating her. And then he came out and had even a faster time. Again, she was like cartwheeling as going down corners. Again, setting a smoking time here or there. Just
so
drifting
far
around
so
the corners.
good.
Again, checking up a little bit to head through some of those rocks. Those rocks hang out, and there's just enough room to get a vehicle through there.
Oh, she tagged a rock a little bit there. Didn't slow her down too much. So I wonder if Josie's been practicing at home. We had a pretty long break since Fiddler's Bend, about 6 or 7 weeks.
She is flying.
She looks like a seasoned pro out there.
She does. I'm impressed.
Did she race a 4-seater at Fiddler's Bend?
That sounds about right. Again, that's just a nice little area there. She is tagging those
Bashing
rocks.
through the rocks. With a 112.721. All right, now we've got Jason Northington.
Will he beat his sister?
He has to at least beat a 112.
Yeah, that's his. He's like, I at least have to beat my sister.
Unfortunately, Sadie Ellison was supposed to be our first team driver on the course, but she is actually back in that little canyon that we have got our drivers lined up in with a dead battery right now.
That's not good.
So we're sending Jason Northington off the line.
It is impressive to see what our teams do with a full-size rig. Yeah, these guys are just coming out and absolutely just flying through this course in this rig. I mean, most of these are more of a stock-ish style rig that race in our stock class. But again, coming out and absolutely just flying through.
Oh, wow.
Holy cow.
Talk about sending it.
Well, he clearly wants to beat his sister really bad.
Oh, man.
That poor suspension on that thing. Jeez Louise.
That looked like a little bit of a rough ride.
Yeah. Yeah, that's impressive. I mean, and again, what blows my mind is that car took it with no problem. You know?
So he did break an axle, but it doesn't seem to be slowing him down too much.
It looks like that inside, that rear driver's side axle. They said it's hanging down. That's not good. Looks like he's got a little work to do. That's a 111.022 for Jace Northington.
1 second faster than sister Josie.
Yeah. He had a 111 and his sister had a 112. Like, yeah. Yeah. All right. We got Sadie Ellison sitting in that race line starting gate. She's like, hi. That is awesome. That is just awesome. All right, we got Sadie Ellison. Must have got her dead battery fixed because he is out there now. Getting that Ellison Racing team. They got a whole bunch of drivers doing work this weekend.
We saw Cooper Bentley racing this rig yesterday for her brother, Cohen Ellison. She and Cohen share it. Cohen races it in the stock class. Luckily, Cooper didn't tear anything up for her. So she's glad about that. Sadie comes out of Clanton, Alabama to race with us. She and her family, both of her brothers are racing with us as well. One in the youth class and one in the stock class.
Got to talk to them a little bit last night in the banquet hall, and I was like, so you picked a pretty good stunt driver. And they're like, yeah, Cooper did okay for us. We kind of laughed.
This is Sadie's first full season and moving up to the teen class with us.
And make a quick time there. I'm sure she enjoyed that high-speed section.
Sadie would like to give a shout-out to Southern Oak Construction, Boggs Welding and Fab, The Powder House, Super Synthetics, Limitless Graphics, and Hillier Law Firm for supporting her race program.
Coming through there. Again, one rock section to go. Just bouncing through there. Sadie out there doing some work.
All right. Well done, Sadie. 146.252. Well done to all of our teen drivers. They did, that does complete course 1 for them.
All right, well, that wraps up our teen/amateur section. We still have our youth to go, and then we have course 2 for everyone.
Yeah, let me give you guys that quick rundown. Brantley Havens had the fastest time with a 99, followed by Jason Northington with a 111, Josie Northington with a 112, and then Sadie Ellison with a 146. So awesome job to our teen class. We are going to go ahead and shut down this feed and then come back up with a new one for the youth class. So you guys don't go too far. Thanks for joining us here for course 1 for everybody. We'll be back up with a fresh feed for youth class, and then like Matt said, we'll be going into course 2 for everybody. So you guys, we'll see you in just a second.